Witsit versus Brian's Logic discussion, and I wasn't particularly listening to them because it's Dumb and Dumber and Dumberer and even Dumber versus Dumber. I was looking at the side chat, and there was Riley banging on about how wonderful Witsit is and how you can't use. Oh, hang on. Let me mute the live stream. There we go.
You can hear yourself. There you go.
And how you can't use a sextant with what was it, non-Euclidean geometry, and I thought, oh, the silly little twat's still around then.
What you mean? You mean Anthony Riley, the guy who is so dumb that he couldn't figure out I was calling him a wanker when I called him a wanker?
That's the one.
The guy that comes into a voice chat and says, "Who have we got in here?" And my instant reply was, 3 normal people and a wanker.
Yeah.
As there were 3 other people, 3 of us already in the chat, and Tony turned up.
And a wanker came in.
Yes.
Yeah. And he couldn't figure out you meant him.
Yeah, exactly.
And as I just posted on Twitter, even he said that Bev's argument that the Earth's not flat, I've got proof, and he's talking about topography, is a fucking stupid argument. When
you might have noticed
Riley is saying that, you know.
Farmer's Boy, you might have noticed I've been watching a bit of the Witsit versus Brian's Logic thing too, because I've been making a few comments.
I did notice you'd made a few comments there, yeah.
There was one that really intrigued me, Witsit saying, "Oh, I don't believe in the atomic model, but everything's held together by electrostatics." And I'm thinking, you fucking idiot. The atomic model is what gives you those positive and negative particles to give you your electrostatics, you dickhead.
Yeah. He doesn't believe in the very thing that he's asserting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll take. I haven't got a fucking clue what I'm on about for 300, please. I mean, he just spouts this bullshit, and nobody seems to pick him up on it. Certainly not the fellow flat earthers, because
Brian's Logic's not capable of picking up any of them.
I couldn't get over his eyebrows. Brian's eyebrows?
They're worse than mine.
He's got 2 caterpillars on his face. I mean, they're amazing. I don't know what was coming out of his mouth was that garbage, but I just can't get his eyebrows. Yeah, they really are quite something.
Yes, we've got you got a few people in the chat already. TT Guy's a closeted glober because his wife's come home and he's can't be on. No alert. G'day, you know alert. Yay, touring.
Hello, every bloody peeps.
Hello. Oh, Matt is typing. Why is Matt typing?
I'd better change my name too. Oh no, I've got it right.
You got it right.
That's good. Yeah, I got it right. I've got the letters right. Yep.
So, you guys have got a chance. I don't think Clive's coming yet, so try and get it before Clive turns up.
Oh, I know it's Ernst Mack.
I see. We didn't see Carl Edwards the last stream. Maybe he hasn't had the power.
No, maybe he's run out of.
He hasn't been able to do his He-Man impression.
My boss's mother lives in.
I don't have the power.
My boss's mother lives in South Africa in Johannesburg, right? And she I get it all the time from him what the latest power cuts are and stuff like that. Apparently, in Cape Town lately, there's a bus versus taxi war as well.
Oh, right.
So yeah, the buses and the taxis are at war against each other, and it literally is like a war. People are actually dying because of it.
I'd say, given the size of a bus, the taxi don't stand a chance. But
yeah,
it's a strange country.
Mm.
South Africa. It's a very bizarre place.
It is weird.
Well, there was this eminent British doctor and his wife and kid went over for a holiday, and they landed at the airport and they rented a car and they took the car and they turned the wrong way, went the wrong way down a wrong street, and the people got them and they shot him. They shot the doctor and right in front of his wife and kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a period there
Yeah.
where we had a lot of South African migrants come over here because they wanted to get out of South Africa because of the crime, particularly against whites.
Well, my boss is actually from Zimbabwe, Timbo.
Hmm.
He was one of the Zimbabwe farmers that
Yeah.
were kicked out.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
their
yeah. I
farm-
remember that.
their-
Yeah.
their- his farm was taken
Yeah.
by force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bit. It still is. I think it quieted down for a while, but I think now it's still gone back the other way a little bit. The government's gone. Well, the crap guys have got back in, and yes, I did. So I got that clip. Hang on a sec. Transition. So this is the clip you were talking about, by the way. Oops.
Yeah.
Again, but I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed.
that's
The actual character
put it
formula, it
mildly.
should be so kind of famous as like E equals MC squared. Even if you don't use it,
Can you
know
turn it
about
up a
it
bit?
because
I'll try.
it's one
Yeah,
of the
it's
things
okay.
that's like fundamental about this reality. That. So 500 times 500 times 8 divided by
What?
5,200.
This is for 8 inches per mile squared.
So it's, hang on, that's not, hang on, I must have done that. So it's 500 times 500 times 8, so that gives you your feet, doesn't it? That gives you your
Feet?
that gives you your, so you got 500 miles and you times it, don't you? To get your, so you times it, hang on. So yeah, 500 times 500
How many meters in a
times
kilometre?
8,
I bet you can't do that one either.
and you divide that by, that's not, it can't be, you can't have 378 miles, that's not, must have done it wrong. Then you get 2 times 2 times 8 inches.
What?
I mean, no, 2 times 2 times. What am I on about? 2. It's 2 times 2. You get 4. Times
Yeah,
8,
normally.
you get 32 inches at the second mile. So yeah. Hang on, no. It must be about. I must have done that wrong again. But it's quite a distance anyway. I should just work out in my head. So 500 times 5. I mean, I can't even bother but I know it's a long distance. But I don't think it would be visible that far because I don't think really anything's visible beyond about 280 to 300 miles. I'd say. I'm really just not interested in getting into like this complex mathematical stuff. I mean, I do like maths, do like numbers and stuff, but it's when it starts to get into all these complex formulas and stuff that gets really like complex and just it just kind of loses you. Now we know that we're not living on a ball. Anyone watching? Then more questions. Come up. Like, what are we? Who are we? What are the stars? What are the stars' significance in this reality? What are the sun and moon's significance in this reality? How do they work? Where does the
Pick to easier things at the moment.
heat come
mate, like
from?
learning how
You
to
know
tie
what?
your shoelaces.
They're working at 500.
How is
500 times 8.
the heat produced? All these things, all these questions, and people can ponder over them.
There you go. Jamie Brown trying to work out 8 inches per mile squared.
You God.
Oh Jesus! What is the derivative of dipshit?
Oh man.
Oh,
2 dipshit plus C.
Something like that. Oh, dear. That was painful to listen to. And then they say, we
what's the
understand
sound
all
of one
this.
hand clapping?
Yes.
You were thinking of the integral of dipshit, Alan, not the derivative.
Yeah, we don't
Oh,
need any
sorry. Yes.
constant of integration for the
Yeah. The integral of dipshit is half dipshit squared plus C.
Yes. They're still out
Of course
there
it
too.
is.
It is, yes. I was listening to a bit of that Iggy. Did you listen to Iggy?
A bit.
Answer.
I watched the whole thing live. Help.
Yes, I don't think it'll play the whole thing live.
Wow.
It's-
A
Insomnia
squared
is not
plus
good
B squared
sometimes.
equals C squared. And that apparently is wrong.
Huh?
Who knew?
This is Iggy, hang on.
No. You just can't use it to work out what C is.
Aren't you?
Isn't that
No,
amazing? And then
because you can't square root it. Or however it is that Toon pronounces the word root.
Yeah, I think I don't know if that's deliberate, so it doesn't sound bad. I don't know.
Yeah. Very strange way of saying it.
Yeah, apparently 3 squared plus 4 squared was 18, right?
Yeah.
Hey?
What? Huh?
here they go doing
No, I
exactly
thought you
what I
agreed with
did.
that being 19. 19, 25, sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Here we go. Here's him trying to go.
Right here.
Right.
Root.
Which is what I told you.
Root.
Which is what I told you.
But you didn't like this. You thought this
Right,
was
that's why I
wrong.
kept-
You thought this was unacceptable. But here
That's
we
what
are.
I keep asking you to do, though.
Here we
is
are
the numeral.
in this book, Matthew C. Pre-algebra. He says, "What is the root of x squared?" Right.
Yeah.
Right, and what does he do?
He,
You got to go up some.
the answer is x.
X.
Right there.
Right.
And it's
After-
again. Yeah. After
Right,
applying
what
the
did he do in
rules of
example
algebra.
one?
After applying the rules of
What did he
algebra.
do in? What did he do in example 1 or 5?
Well, he gave.
Example 5.
Yeah, he said root 10
He squared it first.
is
He
yeah
squared it
he's
first.
walking through the process because this is an
Right, which is all I was
introductory.
asking.
This is an introductory
Which is-
thing for people that don't understand this topic yet.
Right, but this is what all I was asking you to do,
And
and,
so-
you refused
And
to
so
do.
here we go. What is root of x squared? Answer x. What is root of
It's
h squared?
ours.
Answer h. What is
And what
root
is ours in
what
the
is-
numeral?
right here? What is root of 25 squared? Or what is root of 25, right? We did the same thing here.
Wrong.
We did this here.
Wrong.
Why?
Wrong.
Why is it wrong? It's not
Just-
wrong. I did the exact same
It
thing,
proved you.
right? So right here.
Example 5 proves you wrong.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
why I asked you
My
to
gosh,
use
Iggy.
numerals. Go ahead and square it first, then square root it to end back
I
at
did
your
that.
25.
Right there. Right there.
Yeah, but you cannot square root it a second time,
I only square
which is
rooted
what
it
you're
once.
doing,
I'm only square
which
rooting
is
it
what
once.
I said.
Just once. Just once.
You know you were not.
Right there. Right.
Go
So
ahead
so I
and do
took.
it right, just
So
like
I did
the
that
book.
right here.
Do it just like the book, asshole.
Yeah, I did right
Do
here.
it just like the book.
So
You
20
did not.
root
Let's
25
put a
equals
numeral
h.
to a squared.
Right there. Root
A
of
squared
25.
must have a numeral.
No, it doesn't.
You're not.
The book.
You're
Right
lying
here.
through your fucking ass.
Right here. Here's
You
the book.
piece of shit.
You're disagreeing with the
Yeah,
book.
Square.
The book right here. X
No,
squared.
put the numeral in.
Root of x
Put the
squared.
numeral in.
What is the root of x squared?
Follow example
Answer.
5.
X.
Follow example
Root
5.
Root of x squared. X.
That's why you won't do that.
Yeah.
That's exactly why you won't do that.
Yeah. 5.
Lying piece
Root of 10
shit.
squared. Root of 10 squared equals 10. This is the introductory thing for people that don't understand variables yet, like you.
And what?
And then
Right.
we've got right
What
here
that
for a
means-
variable for people that, you know, this is just an introduction thing to people that are just new to understanding that variables happen in algebra. You know, something you're
Sorry,
maybe not
but-
up to speed yet. That's fine.
I am
And so
completely.
x, the
I'm
root of
the
x
only one
squared
here.
equals x. Root of x squared equals
I'm the only
x.
honest person
Root
here.
of 10 squared equals 10.
What's the square root of 10?
What's
Because that's
the-
what you're doing.
Nope.
You're
In
doing
fact,
square root of 10.
in fact, I'm not. So
Yes,
what
you
is
are.
what is the
To end up
so
above, you must do
so
square
basic?
root twice.
So right here, here's the what's the root of c squared?
You're lying.
C. It's right out of the book.
It is 25.
Right out of the
Our
book.
example is
Right
25.
out of the book, Iggy. So I'll just write down. I'll write down nice and clear here. Out of the book.
It is not. You must square it first, as the book tells you and shows you.
There you go. That's what the book told us.
Yep.
Right in here. Root of x. It's right there on this page.
Right? And it tells you,
So
why
there
do you
you
think
go.
it gives you the other example?
There it is.
Why
There
do
it
you think it gives you the other examples?
Because it's an introductory book
No.
for people that don't understand the topic yet, like you. So
Right, yourself.
yeah. So here we go. And so I solved for C. Nothing wrong with solving for C, right? You agreed this was the correct.
You're such
So I thought, oh, right, okay, surely we must skip this. So I went a little bit further ahead. I'm still talking about it.
There you go. People can see what you're doing now.
What's this him doing?
He changed the subject for a bit and then went back to it.
All right, okay. I just like this trying to type it on the
calculator
calculator.
in the bottom left.
Yes.
Okay. So I just did 9 plus 16. I'll do that over again because you can't enlarge the calculator, unfortunately. Do that. 9 plus 16 equals, because we're all squared, and then we must square 25. This gives us 625.
Why didn't you square
Then we
root?
can square root that, and then if I square root again, now we got 5.
Why did you
So
square
I
it
have to
and
square
then?
root it twice.
But why did you square it and then unsquare it? Why didn't you just skip squaring and unsquaring?
There is no skipping, as the example showed you in the book, is what you don't understand at all, and you will not do at all.
But the book.
Why
I
won't
mean
you
the
put
book.
numerals in the paper
The book
for
gave
us?
us this right here. The book gave us this. Why?
As the skipped end, skip to the end, McToon way,
This is from the book.
which is not in the book.
That's
It
I mean,
is not in the book.
It's literally on the book. I literally copied that.
So I gathered that went on for a while.
A long time.
A while.
Look. Oh dear, and this is a guy who's claiming to be a mathematics expert at mathematics. I'm in trouble with
And
it.
there was me hoping this would be able to send me to sleep.
I don't think you did that.
There you go.
Trouble
People can
was,
see
it was
what you're
too.
doing now.
It was so stupid. I couldn't even fall asleep to it.
Yes, he was that way. Yeah. Oh, that's only a few minutes past that. What else I got? Two more links. What have I got these? Let's see. For in the same one.
In this area on the
Oh,
right,
here we go.
looking at the elevation that it starts with is 1475,
Yes.
and then its length is about 2340.
Okay.
And let me just see if I get this right. Don't always.
Things I don't understand for 500, please.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
they got it wrong. Oh, I'm doing that right.
Hmm. Can
So
you
these are 6.3 inches per mile squared for the Mississippi.
what are you calculating there?
The elevation as to the length.
Okay.
That it runs.
Elevation to length. Okay. So you've determined that there is an elevation change from the beginning to the end. Okay.
Correct.
Then what?
That proves that you're under the very wrong anyway, but 8 inches per mile squared.
But
You're
8
only
inches
at
per mile squared
6.2.
is 8 inches per mile squared is what? What is 8 inches per mile
The
squared?
alleged,
The what?
it's the alleged curvature of the Earth's surface.
Curvature. Okay, so it's actually linear drop from horizontal tangent, but now what did you show here in this this panel here? What are you showing here?
I'm showing in the calculator that the curvature for the Mississippi could not match the claimed curvature of a ball Earth.
But
But it's only 6.3 inches.
Iggy, you didn't show the curvature rate. You showed something else. You showed the elevation drop. So now,
Well, that's fine. You already said that that's an elevation drop for 8 inches per mile squared.
yeah, but you're showing
that tangent.
elevation. You're showing elevation, not curve. So
It doesn't matter. It's still a straight line drop, like you said, for 8 inches.
yeah, but you're not showing. Right. So this page is showing you elevation change, not
Right.
curve. Right. So what you need to do is you need to show the measurements of curve or not curve, but instead what you're showing is the measurements of elevation. So could you show maybe measurements of
Incorrect.
curve or not curve, please?
I am showing the measurements of curve.
But no, it says elevation right on screen there. It says elevation change, right? So elevation.
Right, and the calculator showed exactly your curvature rate or drop rate in our case.
Yeah, but what you're
But you don't get it. Yes, I think he's a bit too. So, yes, I think it's worse last time, but he's no better, is he?
Half the time, I didn't even know what he was trying to say anyway.
No.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
so disjointed and unclear about what his
you're
proposals are.
asking.
That couldn't even decipher them.
I mean, there he's trying to work out elevation. Obviously, there's no concept of the difference between elevation and a drop from horizontal, right? And that obviously a river would have elevation difference, otherwise it wouldn't be flowing.
Yeah.
It's not
Although,
level.
how much elevation change does a river need?
It depends how fast you want it to flow, Alan.
I mean,
Yeah.
the river very close to me, which starts about 4 miles further towards the coast than I am. It rises at an elevation of 1 meter.
I think the
And
answer
it's
to your
20
question, Alan,
And it's 22 miles from the sea.
I think the answer to your question, Alan, would be it's about the same amount that Bev claims that you can do with an angle.
Yeah. It's quite interesting because you can go and sit next to Potterheim Bridge, and depending on the time of the day, the river flows in different directions.
Yes, depending on the tide.
Depending on the tide.
Yes, I was going to say, Alan, the difference is a body of water without an elevation difference is probably a lake.
Yeah.
Whereas one with the elevation difference is probably a river. Yes. basically the difference whether the water moves or not.
Well, I mean, it rises less than a mile from the sea, but it actually takes 22 miles to get to the sea.
But it's not flowing.
And
I'm guessing it doesn't flow very fast, does it?
No, and it runs. It depends on the tide, because the tide fills it up quite a bit. I mean, there's a 1 foot tidal difference.
Yeah.
At Potterheim Bridge.
Good.
Makes for quite a significant current up the whole length of the river.
See, even in Norfolk, the rivers aren't in a hurry.
No.
No.
I was going to say,
to be in a hurry in Norfolk.
There's a section at the Niagara Falls where there's quite a big elevation difference over a very short period of time, and it flows very fast in that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess when the tide's at maximum flood, the current is faster than walking pace.
I thought Matt might be here to answer all the 10 million. I don't know if you guys have been watching since the Indians land, how many videos there are about how fake the Indian landing was.
Oh, look at this fake CGI. Yeah. Don't get blamed, it was real, you fucking idiots.
It's just, it's a cartoon graphic. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's what the news channel had to did when they were doing the live transmission of the Apollo 11 landing, and what screwed them up was they'd been told how long it would take to land, so they had an animation that was X number of seconds long, and of course famously Armstrong said, no, we're not landing there, we're going to go and try and land over here, and it was like the animation that showed them already having landed, and no, they haven't got that far yet.
I haven't got there yet.
Quick, just keep talking, do something. And that's why Buzz Aldrin famously says, do you remember watching us land on the moon? No, you don't, because you didn't watch us land on the moon.
Not live.
Not live, no. Everybody saw the film afterwards of that, particularly the internal shots. But at the time, obviously there was nobody there to bloody film them. Just like there was nobody on the lunar South Pole to film the Indians landing.
No, that's right. And you won't get much live feed from them either.
Yeah, but now they've got a lander on the moon. So next year when they land the call center, you'll be able to see that live.
Yeah, blue. I don't know.
I did like the meme, and it was a photo of one of the Apollo LEMs, and it's just absolutely plastered people.
Yes,
there's the call center then. That one did make me chuckle.
Yeah, so I got to give him credit because they did it. Got something to land on the moon with a shoestring budget, and
their entire budget was less than that from the film Interstellar.
Yes, that's right.
There you go. They got a craft to soft land on the moon and spit its little rover out for less money than it takes to make a Hollywood film.
Well, you know what they used for communications between the moon lander and control base? A little program called AnyDex.
AnyDex.
Yeah, probably.
Look,
but,
I think that...
No, I mean,
you really do. You do have to give a bit of credit. Come on.
Yeah, give them lots of credit. I mean, the fact that they tried a couple of years back and it didn't work, and it's like, okay, we'll have another go, and this time,
well, it worked. They hit the damn thing. Come on,
they did,
and they got a 50%.
It's relatively easy to make something to hit the moon. It's a matter of surviving it afterwards,
They knew where to aim for because they'd left a mark from the previous mission.
That's right.
Steer for the black spot. That's all.
Yeah.
That's where
make sure you don't steer for the black spot. That didn't work very well. We'll go somewhere else. I think that you got to give them credit. That's 50% success rate, which is better than I think the early other probes were. I think it took 6 goes for the other guys to get something to land on the moon. So
Their rockets are really marginal. Look at how long it took that thing to get there.
Well, that's what they said. It took what 43 days to get there or something like that.
Yeah.
And the and Artemis was what 3-4 days. That's a difference in rocket.
Yeah,
power.
but it was a hell of a lot cheaper though too.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did it with cost effectively.
Yeah, they were right at the very limits of their technology.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they went around the Earth 5-6 times to get it to get enough velocity to head off. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
took them a while just before they even got away from heading towards the moon. So yeah, but they got them
They
there.
were just making their orbit more and more elliptical. That's the only way they could get out there.
Does make it a bit boring if you're going to be an Indian astronaut, though. You know, if it's going to take you 43 days to get to the moon, that's going to be a dull trip.
Yeah, you'd want to wear one hell of a diaper, wouldn't you?
It's a trip. Yeah.
Get the poo bags out.
No curries on that trip, you know.
No curries, yeah.
Oh, golly.
What you stand there thinking about? Oh dear.
Now,
So that one got out. Christ.
I was going to say, I haven't listened to this one. This is another tune he put out. Al Truther. Did anyone else listen to this one? Came out on Thursday. This guy doesn't sing. I've only listened to about 30 seconds of it, so.
No, I don't think I've seen this one.
So I was going to put it on for we'll see how it goes. Either that or Dora, I'm sure, is itching for a Lindsay, but we'll see how this goes.
Bev was on Oakley yesterday.
Was he? Was he popular?
Yeah, Bev took his crowd over to Oakley's show. It's pretty funny.
Oh dear.
Did they welcome him with open arms?
It began rather friendly, but that deteriorated rather
I was going to say,
rapidly.
Did SC open his mouth after that? Or something like
that?
Who? SC, did he go with him over there?
Yeah, SC, yeah. Oh, yeah. Bev won't go anywhere by himself.
No.
So, maybe we could ask Bev how Nathan's nuts taste then.
Yes. Oh, let's see what this guy's got to say for himself.
Something different I can offer, and I want to try and offer a solution, because this has been going on for 10 years now, and to me this is not what wise, intelligent, sensible men do. They don't bicker and argue for 10 years. They get it sorted. So I'd love to see it sorted. Maybe some people don't want to see it sorted, but I'd love to see it sorted. So hopefully I'm going to come up with some sort of solution and maybe ask you what's your opinion on a solution as well.
All right.
So I'm new to coming on camera, so I'll do my best. A couple of hours is fine by me. I think any more than that, I'd start to burn out. But let me just say, I've got a history of landscaping and garden design. I've not got an academic or scientific history. I've got different skills in life that I'm very happy with, but academic is not one of them. So don't expect too much. You know, I'm open about it. I'm not brilliant at it. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm aware how you work. So I've got to take that into consideration as well. You're not just going to let me come on over and speak esoterically, which is my strength, but and just, you know, waffle on stories, that kind of thing. You want proof, you want evidence. I understand that. I haven't exactly got measurements of flatness, but maybe I can go away and bring back measurements of flatness at some point in the future, which I'll talk about later.
No.
But,
Right.
I think that's about it. I think that's about it for an introduction. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for rearranging your usual Tuesday night to accommodate my UK time. I do appreciate that for doing that. So thank you for that.
All right. Well, Al sent me a list already and some pictures because she's just on a phone. so it doesn't have a computer it's a little difficult to present screen when you're just on a phone. You can, but
He
it's
doesn't
easier
have a
if you
computer.
don't
Who in
have
this
to.
day and
So
age
he sent them to
doesn't
me.
have a
I've got them
computer?
ready.
Flat
I
Earthers,
will
obviously.
share them to you
Lots
as
of
you
people.
reference them,
Really?
so you can see
Yeah.
what it is that you're referring to.
Yeah, the phone's all the computer they need.
So
Okay.
if you
So
want to
go ahead and present my flatness.
all right. Your flatness. All right.
Well, we can argue about the sun, the moon, the stars, and all sorts of things, but of course, the proof of the shape of the Earth is in gravity, is in curvature. Sorry. Oh, you put one of the pictures up.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, well, I wasn't quite ready for that one yet.
Oh, is there a different one you want?
No, I don't need a picture just now.
Oh, all right. I'll stop that then. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So, I mean, I've got about 8 points, I think, but the two main points are railway construction and curvature. That's where the proof is going to be in what the Earth is. It's in curvature. So water is the best way.
For him.
And I've been watching all these videos and presentations and experiments and black swan and all that stuff. And all you get is arguments over refraction, atmospheric conditions, whether it was done at night or the day. It doesn't matter what people do. It kind of gets argued. So, I mean, if you take water, you start from small. You can start from a cup. You can start from a bath or an Olympic-sized swimming pool. At that point, water is flat and horizontal upon its surface. I'm going to try and avoid using the word level because I know you'll play devil's advocate. And you're actually right. Level can be from a curved surface, but that's in context. If you're talking about the context of a curved surface, then it can be level on a curved level, yeah. But of course, the context we're talking about is flat and horizontal upon its surface.
Yeah, because surveyors have used the word level to mean a curved surface for centuries.
Yeah, sure. So where do you go with it? At what point does water start to curve? I saw your video the other day where you presented evidence of 0.4 miles and 2 inches of curve. So you're happy to go to them small levels, them small measurements.
Yep.
2 inches.
Yep. That's at much shorter than that, and it gets difficult to measure the amount because the instruments struggle to have the precision necessary.
Yeah. I mean, being a landscape gardener, I've actually constructed or helped construct large pools. So I've actually measured the flatness of water. I can say I've measured the flatness of water, but only over 60 meters. And that was with wooden pegs. And I'm sure you're familiar with a laser level used in building and construction. So that was done to millimeters of precision. Yeah. But that's only over 60 meters.
It needs to be more precise than that.
So what's the thickness of that
laser?
Yes,
that's right.
At 60 meters, it's probably
tolerance.
The thickness top to bottom of that laser is probably thicker than the amount of curvature you'd expect, right?
Yeah, but we wasn't measuring it. Yeah, but that wasn't a curvature measurement, and of course you're not going to get much curvature over 60 meters. I'm just saying I've measured the flatness of water. That was what you would expect over 60 meters to be perfectly level, because that is the characteristics of water. We know this. This is a known science. The question is, does it start to curve over 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile, 4 mile? That's the question. And then when you start to try and test that, it's very difficult to do it repeatedly because the conditions and refraction and all these sort of things could be.
Not really.
So it's not something someone could just keep going and repeating and go, look, same result, same result, same result. It's very difficult. And I'm trying to find a way of being able to measure water, taking them conditions, refraction, and atmospheric conditions out of the equation. Right.
So, I did the math real quick here. Over 60 meters.
Yeah.
0.28 millimeters of curve, of linear drop, not curve. So 0.28. So I don't know. Is the laser thicker than 1 millimeter? Probably. Right.
Yeah. But I mean, we wouldn't even try and test the curvature of it. It's interesting that there is a figure, and of course, you're always going to find a figure because it's maths, isn't it? But I mean, how do we measure it over 40 miles? This is the question I'm asking, right? I found a stretch of canal in the UK. I looked for the longest stretch of canal in the UK without any locks. And of course, this is very similar to the Suez Canal argument. But I'm looking for somewhere in the UK where I can easily go and test it. So in the north of the UK, between Preston and Kendal, there is a 40-mile stretch of canal with no locks, which is the longest in the UK. So I'm thinking, how can I test that stretch of water?
What's that? What is there a name for that?
Lancaster Canal.
Okay.
The Lancaster Canal between Kendal and Preston, and it's the longest stretch without any locks.
And that's longer than Bedford?
See Farmers and Ellen quickly.
Oh, yeah. I think so. Yeah. I mean, the thing is with the Bedford Canal, that was a site test. The canal I'm talking about is not straight. That was the Bedford Canal was. The Bedford Canal was unique because it was dead straight for 6 miles.
Stop calling it the Bedford
So
Canal.
they sent the boat along there with the flag, row bottom.
Not a canal, and it's not in Bedford.
It's in the 1800s, wasn't it? Mid to late 1800s.
Yeah. Row bottom did it into the water.
Yeah.
And then when Wallace came along, Alfred Russel Wallace came along, he marked on a bridge a spot that was 13 feet above the water.
Yeah, it's gone pretty full.
13 feet and a couple inches. And then he put in the middle, between where the observer was and where the bridge was, he put a pole, and on the pole he had 2 circles. One circle that was 13 feet up and one that was less than 13 feet up.
Yeah,
and
the same
it through the telescope.
Chat was Paul.
Yeah. And that's actually one of my pictures. Number 7 is the Bedford levels.
Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, I've read
so
differing.
Yeah, the point is, if you I don't know how you would do it if it's curving. I suppose if it's meandering back and forth, you could figure out a couple spots that somehow line up.
But I'm talking about the whole stretch for 40 miles. It's a similar sort of distance that we're talking across the Michigan, Lake Michigan to Chicago. There's a similar sort of distance, 40 miles. Right. What about putting a gyroscope?
Does he not get that if it's curving, it's a problem? Have you found it yet, Farmers?
I don't think this old boy gets anything much. I've just looked on the Canal and River Trust page for Lancaster Canal.
Yeah.
As the canal is naturally level, it also lends itself to gentle walking and cycling.
Well, there you go.
Oh, it's naturally level.
Naturally level, meaning that it curves to the shape of the Earth.
Yep.
Do we know how, as the crow flies from one end to the other, how long it is?
Oh, hold on. Let's go back to that page. Well, the bit he's referring to, it's 41 miles with no locks.
Okay. Relatively straight or curvy, or we don't know?
No, it meanders.
Meanders, so yeah, it's going to be less than it. Obviously, he doesn't comprehend that it could be a slight issue to what he's trying to do. Anyway, we'll see where he goes. I'll see if I can find it.
On a boat and traversing the whole 40 miles. Create almost like a level boat with gyroscopes, levels, whatever you want. And traverse the 40 miles.
Just a second. For some reason my upload is not going on right now.
Oh, you're not showing the
people are saying the hamsters need Toonshine.
Hey.
My upload
It's come to a halt anyway.
Not the normal speed that it is. So let me check to make sure, because I stop some. I have some things that run sometimes and download stuff, and it takes bandwidth, so I stop it during the stream, but it stopped. And I'm still seeing poor output.
Okay, well, don't worry too much about that. That was just, I mean, that was just a reference of, it was just a reference of the Bedford Canal.
Yeah.
But,
All right. So what's the gyroscope going to do?
It will show, I know this is going to be argued, probably by a theory, but it will show that you haven't changed any elevation whatsoever over 40 miles. Now, when this happens in an aeroplane, the reason given is gravity is keeping the aeroplane going round this ball. Right?
What?
You can't do that on water. You can't use gravity as an excuse.
So
or a reason.
You can.
A gyroscope doesn't measure elevation, though.
It would measure whether you're going down a hill on a hill of water, as you.
A gyroscope doesn't measure hills either. It measures orientation.
Doesn't know what a gyro does.
Well, it is your orientation. You're going completely flat and level along a waterway.
So is your claim, but if a gyroscope, if it's like this, then you move around to a different portion of the Earth, it's going to change its orientation, regardless of the elevation, right? But if you're on a canal, the elevation stays the same, right? So a gyroscope would tell you whether or not the orientation changed over 40 miles.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, not the elevation. Doesn't.
And assuming that it was a straight line of 40 miles, that would be 0.6 of a degree.
Yeah. I don't know if can I do this?
I think you should stick to landscape gardening myself.
Yeah. I don't think he's so I make. Is that coming through? Yep. That's Lancaster Canal. Is that am I in the right place?
You're in the right neck of the woods, yeah.
So it's Lancaster.
Yeah.
So I'm gathering. Yeah, this is it. You gather it's up that way somewhere.
That looks awfully like a canalized river. A river that's been turned into a canal, doesn't it?
Does a bit, doesn't it?
So
yeah, but I don't think this one was.
Oh no!
Is on the Loon? Was on the Loon River farmers or not?
I'm just looking on the Wikipedia page and trying to see where that run without locks starts.
Anyway,
Fred Brady says that's Lancaster. That's where he's from.
The Loon Aqueduct, because I think they ended up taking the river over the canal.
That's this one. Yeah. Oh, that's not a canal. Oh, aqueduct.
That was the railway line.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's clearly not straight. And if it's a river, it's not gonna be necessarily consistent elevation, is it? So, yes, I don't think he gets it. I'll switch back.
Oh, apparently Fred says it's a proper canal.
It's a proper canal.
Yeah, it's a proper man-made canal.
Oh,
it would surely prove. It would surely.
I'll keep it playing. I'll see if I can find it.
Show you that you're going anything other than level.
How is a gyroscope going to do that?
Because if you're going down a hill, it starts to move, does it not?
No, not if your orientation doesn't change. So if you let's just get in an elevator so that we eliminate the horizontal movement, right? Because on a globe, if you move horizontally, a gyroscope should change its orientation. As long as you keep your orientation to vertical the same. But if you're just on an elevator, you're at an angle, and you move down, you're at an angle. You move up, you're at that same angle, right? So the orientation doesn't change if you're on an elevator. But if you're going around, right? Here's a little, right, curve of the Earth. Here, you move, same elevation on a globe, and then you're at a different orientation. So a gyroscope could measure that, but over 40 miles, that's not going to be a lot. It's less than 1 degree.
The curvature is less than 1 degree.
Yeah, you get 1 degree of curvature in 69 miles. So you need a very precise gyroscope, which exists, and flat earthers have used before and measured rotation. But you could and see how much changes.
What about another some kind of leveling device? Other leveling devices?
There
like
are leveling devices like an auto level, but auto levels, they met well. This, I mean, I've got this diagram here, right? On a globe, they would measure a drop with increasing distance, and in both directions. So when Wallace set up the Bedford level test that he did, he set up a telescope at one end, and he didn't level it. He didn't use it like an auto level. That wasn't his intention there, but that's the kind of thing that you would do. You go to one end, you set up an auto level, you sight the distance at the other end, and you see if that other end is at the same elevation above the canal, or if it's at a higher elevation above the canal.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that would be a way to do it.
Okay,
Like
well,
Bev
I'll look
did
further
at
into
the
it.
Bedford
because I
levels
want to
with
go
his
and
auto
prove it
level.
myself.
Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
no point in just living in an echo chamber, listening to other flat earthers saying they've done it, they've done the work. I want to go and do the work myself. I've been lazy. I admit that. I've been a lazy flirt for too many years now, and I want to sort something out.
Yeah.
So
well,
I
that's
can
good.
say I've done it. You know? So why Jaron and his experiment, that was due to refraction, was it not? He didn't take refraction into account.
No, he did the math wrong. So normally 8 inches per mile squared is the wrong formula for what people are trying to do. But when Jaron did it, it was the right formula. He just didn't quite apply it correctly. So when he did it, I'll quickly explain it. He had his camera, he had the hole in the panel, and he had Enrique with the light, and they are all at 17 feet above the surface of the canal that he was next to. And for flat, then you should be able to see it. And you're right, he did not take into account refraction. So with refraction, actually, Enrique should be a little below 17. Because refraction under normal circumstances causes distant objects to appear slightly higher. So something that's at, say, 16.5 would appear to be 17 over a distance of 5 miles or 3 miles. I'm just shooting out numbers there. I'm not, don't hold me to that specific number. But what Jaron did is when he did the math for what the globe predicts, he took the entire 3 miles and said, oh, let me apply 8 inches per mile squared across that whole distance. And that was the wrong way to do it, because the low point of the path of light was not at Jaron's camera. It was halfway between Jaron's camera and the panel. And that is a little non-intuitive to think about at first. But once you kind of think about it, and for me, once I thought about it, I'm like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. So anyway, so you do the math from Enrique to the point halfway between the panel and Jaron, which was 2.25 miles. And then the light starts to go up. And so then you subtract off that last 3/4 of a mile from the prediction. And so the no refraction prediction was 19.5, I think. The with refraction was 20, or the other way around.
Yeah.
Something like that. I have a web page where I go through all the math, mc2.net/interesting. Jaron still uses that term. He can't get away from it. Anyway, that's where I go over all the math. I have a Python program I wrote. So yeah.
I get it. Yeah, I've just got the interesting bit. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Why hasn't he been back? Why hasn't he been back and nailed it? This is my question. But again, we're waiting for someone else to go
It
back and do
was
something, aren't we? You know what I mean?
2017.
A long time ago.
You know, it's a pain in the butt. It's
Where's
it yeah, and I understand his hesitation, right? Because if he's wrong, then
which he is,
then all he does is confirm the ending of that movie, right? And if he's right, then what are we going to say? We're saying, well, you probably did the experiment a little poorly.
But he doesn't have to put it on Netflix again. He could just go back and do it independently.
I know. And maybe and I had this idea, and I don't know if it's true. Maybe he did. And maybe he's like, oh crap, that didn't work out right. I'm not going to publish that. I don't know. I don't think he did that, but you know, people definitely, researchers do that. It's one of the problems with research.
Oh well, I think we get where this guy's going. I'll watch more of it later. I was going to put up a poll, Paul. Now, Paul has 2 quizzes tonight. Do you not, Paul? Yes.
Yes, I do.
Actually,
Go on.
I have a question I'd like to ask Paul on that last comment. That how often do research groups publish their negative results?
Oh, I don't really know, Alan.
Because I get the feeling that's not the sort of thing the publishers of the journals want to put in the journals.
Well, I mean, not really, but it depends on what the experiment's about. I mean, publishing a null result or a negative result is not really unscientific, though, is it? I mean, like if you're doing for example, the latest muon G2 experiment, you know, and you find that there's no correlation, there's no evidence for any new physics there, would you publish that result or not? Of course you would. I mean, if you find if you find there's a null result or a negative result, of course you publish it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just wondering how often that, you know, because I haven't read lots of journals. I used to read the Institute of Electrical Engineers journal, but you don't see very much in it of we tried this and it didn't work.
Yeah, I guess, and unless you're trying to repeat somebody else's experiment, and in that case, like for instance with the you know, the Pons and Fleischmann experiment showing cold fusion. I mean, lots of people tried to reproduce that experiment, and there was a flurry of papers published refuting their findings, showing that hey, we didn't see anything. We got a negative result when we tried this experiment. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've seen it lately with this latest LK99 superconductor thing as well.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Paul, did I get that quizzes right?
No, you didn't get it right, Timbo. It's a hard math quiz or a hard general knowledge quiz.
Oh, so the hard science quiz is a hard math quiz, because it's rather be taking the poll down. Well, some people voted already. Oh, there's a change. Hey, would you prefer me to? Hey, let's put it up again. Okay, let's end it.
So Peanuts, do you want a hard math quiz, or do you want a hard general knowledge science quiz?
I'll start that poll again. Okay.
Yeah, you know, like the usual hard quiz I have, or a hard math quiz like I did last time.
Sorry, you can hear my typing. I know.
That's all right.
Now, Dora.
Math, or not myth.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, time for some hard math. But, it's still a bit early in the day for that, I think. I'll have to leave that to the evening. You know what I mean?
It's flicking back and forth. Ooh. Oh, it's a
dear.
general knowledge quiz by look.
Liquor and meth at the same time. Sure, why not? Go for it.
I don't normally like watching the flatties, but lately there have been a few flatties arguing against each other, which are quite interesting.
It's a bit different,
That's
isn't
always
it?
fun, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Oh, look, there's some morons trying to out moron each other. Go for
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah. Let me probe the depths of stupidity. No, hold my
Yes.
beer. I can go deeper than that.
The question becomes, or the problem is then that you have to debunk two at the same time.
Just let them do it. Oh, hello, South Africa. And what are your scores, please?
Yes.
Oh, Carl Edwards is here.
He is, yes.
Yeah.
Carl has the power.
May the power be with you, Carl.
Well, he does at the moment.
Yeah. Does he have buses and taxis, though?
He's fighting over. Which camp do you fall on, Carl? Yes, I did check that. Lancaster Canal is the one that he's talking about. I don't think it's suitable for what he wants it to do. It's got all sorts of interruptions. Might not have many locks, but it's got a few interruptions along it.
Well, I mean, like he said, it wouldn't be a visual thing like we do at Welney on the Bedford level, because it's just not straight. But his whole idea of using a gyro to prove that it's flat, it's like, right, okay.
Yes, he doesn't understand the
Sounds like
problem.
wrong.
Gardening, you know.
Yeah,
Gyro's not going to show you anything.
yeah.
Of course not.
Shows he doesn't understand the problem in the first place. Yeah.
That looks like it's general knowledge, is it, Timbo?
Yeah, we're sitting 75, so if you want to cue that one up.
They only want general knowledge because of the boobs, right?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, the boobs. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Where's put up the right thing so we can see it coming there? Yeah. Whenever you're ready, Paul. We might run to
Righto. All right.
You should have rights.
Yeah. All right. I just got to locate my mouse. There it is. Okay. Share screen. That's the one I want to share. And go for it. There we go. All right. Are we ready yet for a general knowledge hard quiz?
Just before you get started. Just before you get started, you can leave that up on the screen for a second. Did someone answer your mystery scientist?
Yeah, the mystery scientist Clive got it as usual. So that's good. It was Edward Morley from the Michelson-Morley experiments. Yeah.
So do we need to put start again with the timer on the front screen, or
on the what?
on your splash screen? I don't know if splash screen is the right word there, but anyway.
Okay, here we go.
The frame rate on it is still absolutely abysmal.
Yeah, that's fine where I am.
The time it gets, the time it gets to here.
All right. Okay. Question 1. Objects used in this practice are classified into imponderables, secodes, and nosodes. What are they? What is this practice? No? Okay.
No.
Techniques used in this practice include the Korsakovian method and the succussion, the latter of which produced positive results in a 1988 experiment by Jacques Benveniste. What is it? Not Fleetwood Mac.
It's got something to do with agriculture. That's
Not
At least
psychology.
he's holding the torch for Fleetwood Mac, because one of these days it will be the right answer again.
All right. George Witthulkus is a contemporary authority on this practice, whose originator developed the concepts of miasms and provings in works like the Organon of the Healing Art, and was named Samuel Hahnemann.
And maybe,
What
and
is
I
this
had this
practice?
idea.
Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to click there, but
Settle down then,
Yeah,
T2.
what idea did you have, Timbo?
I was working on. I didn't move. It's is it organics, agriculture,
Yeah,
bio,
I
something
was
like that.
thinking along those lines as well, Clive.
I reckon we've got a winner out in the peanuts, but I'll give you a few more clues
Yeah.
anyway.
Oh, right,
Organon
okay.
sounds familiar.
Followers
Yeah.
of this practice believe in the silica hypothesis and make mother tinctures. Anyone know what it is?
Just put a
Yes.
drop of this in
Well,
water and then dilute it. Really,
I
dilute
do only
it.
because I
Really, yeah,
read the
that's the
chat.
one, yeah.
This,
Clive Wells is
this
correct
is not
with.
Yes, but
this
Alan?
is not science. I was
No,
going to say
it's
this
not
is not science.
That's not science, no, but it's the question. Yeah, critics
General
of this practice attempt mass suicides that have never killed any of the participants. I wonder why.
Yeah.
While its proponents cite doctrines like patent solvents and water memory to explain this practice's supposed efficacy. Yeah. Name this pseudoscience based on the absurdly stupid idea that medicine becomes more potent the more it is diluted. It is indeed, as Clive said, homeopathy.
Homeopathy.
Yes.
Yeah. If you forget to take your homeopathic medicine, you better rush to hospital because it could overdose.
Yes, that's right.
No, you just need plenty of this.
Yeah.
Plenty of water, you'll be fine.
Doesn't water have memory in homeopathy?
I hope not, because think of all that dinosaur
Yeah, the
piss
poo and stuff.
remembering.
Yeah. We're drinking the same water the dinosaurs did. Remember that?
Yeah, where did it go after they went to the dinosaurs?
All right, question 2. This character exclaims, "Good news, I'm back. Bad news, I'm back." Then takes out a room full of bad guys just moments after recovering from a grievous throat wound. Who is it?
Oh. I feel
That
I
would
should
be
know this.
T2, the Terminator.
Not the Terminator.
No.
Nah.
No, it's not. It's not a Terminator.
It's not the Terminator.
It's vaguely familiar, but I can't place it. I'm sure I know what this
Not
is.
jumping yet.
Okay. While hiding in a cave outside Argon City, this character trains the mechanic Beck to assume the role of the renegade. Who is it? The black guy? No. Not the vampire hunter either. No.
Is this from Arnie in the Mars one?
No, it's not.
No, okay.
In this character's first film appearance, he travels with his love interest, Yuri, to an IO tower.
Oh, Tron.
His suit, which features 4 dots on his chest, changes colour from red to white during a light ship chase over the Sea of Simulation.
Yeah.
You're sticking with Tron, are you, Timbo?
Yeah.
Yeah. This character had earlier been captured by CLU, who turned him into the double identity, disc-wielding evil henchman, Rinsler.
It is, by the way, the bad Tron, not the good Tron.
Yes, it is. It is indeed, as Timbo said, Tron. Yeah. He gains the ability to defeat the MCP by communicating with Alan Bradley, who, like his character, is played by Bruce Boxleitner.
Whatever happened to him?
Yeah. Identify this badass computer security program he fights for the users in a namesake Disney franchise. It is indeed Tron.
Well, yeah, you described the bad Tron. That's what took me so long, because I never watched that really bad once. It's Tron 2, not Tron.
I remember him being in Babylon 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Question 3. A form of this phenomena,
used to investigate the interstellar medium in radio astronomy equals its namesake measure times the square of wavelength, where this phenomena's namesake measure depends on the integral of a component of the interstellar magnetic field. What is this thing? Good luck with that first clue.
Yeah, I think he tried to turn that round and round as much as possible so it wasn't obvious.
Right, okay.
Oh,
The
Carl's
von
got an answer.
Siebel theorem gives a measure of flux during one kind of this phenomenon. Not a pulsar, not redshift, no. Evidence cited by Harlow Shapley for his estimation of the size of the universe included observations of this phenomenon taken by Adriaan van Maanen that turned out to be flawed. Not blue shift.
Not blue shift.
Not blue shift, no.
It's not something like paradox or something.
Not expansion, no. Quasars are powered by energy generated from this phenomenon in the Blanford-Znanek process.
And the Blanford unpronounceable process.
Not toroidal fields. Good answer, nerd alert, but no. Not the tropical gap either, I might say.
They're just pre-filling their bloody card in.
Yeah. A plot named for this phenomenon shows a curve that surprisingly remains flat instead of falling off as the square root of the distance. What is this phenomenon? That should give it away to some people.
Gravity.
Not gravity.
Gravity.
Calculations regarding rates of this phenomenon by Vera Rubin led to the theory of dark matter.
Effective gravity.
No. What did Vera Rubin measure?
Galactic rotation.
Ah, that's the one. Rotation is the right thing. Name this type of movement, commonly shown for galaxies in a namesake curve. It is a rotation curve. Rotation was the correct answer. Yes. All right, question 4. If one chemist hadn't died in an accident involving one of these apparatuses, he might have shared Suzuki's Nobel for his discovery of an analogous cross-coupling with organotin compounds.
Not the Suzuki I'm familiar with then.
No.
I'll have you.
It does make it a bit hard
It's
to
the
share a prize
apparatus,
when you're
remember,
dead.
not what Suzuki did. It's the apparatus that he died in.
Yes.
That man was John Kenneth Still. Chalmers. Gilman demanded extra money from the research team, employing him if he could pull off one achievement using one of these apparatuses. Not the rubber refiner. Mitsubishi, Isuzu, no. C.O. Ali et al. Verified the results of one experiment that unusually made use of these apparatuses. Did I hear someone say something just before?
What, you mean rocket plane? Whoosh.
Close. Early creators of these devices were convinced of their impossibility thanks to an inaccurate value of the Smeaton coefficient. Anyone know what the Smeaton coefficient is? Spectroscopy container. Live wells. No. Egg floating in salt water. No.
I've got some spectroscopy in this box. Would you like it?
Yeah. An incredibly cheap test of relativity made use of atomic clocks and these experimental apparatuses and was carried out by Huffield and Keating. What did they use? They used clocks and what, Carl Edwards?
Aircraft.
They did, didn't they? Well done, Alan. Supersonic speeds were attained by the Bell X-1 example of these devices, and more regularly by the continent-hopping Concorde.
Identify these devices whose mechanism of action is often erroneously described by Bernoulli's principle. That would be these things.
Aircraft.
If they had rockets, they'd all be rocket planes.
Yeah, which are airplanes, or in Australia, aeroplanes.
Aeroplane.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
sometimes aeroplanes over here. They certainly used to be.
Yeah,
Well,
They
there's
still
planes.
are.
they still
They
are.
still are, but it's sort of
Yeah.
tends to be either or these
We are
days,
not
doesn't
American. Thank you very much.
it? Yes. Thank God.
Sorry, play.
Question 5. This man posited that the iron abundance in the interior of stars was due to a neutron to proton ratio that eventually was shown to be too high, thus making this man's E process irrelevant. Who was it?
Tony Stark. I don't know.
No. With his student and frequent collaborator, Chandra Wickramasinghe, this man developed the theory of panspermia. Who was it?
Okay. What he does
Yeah.
in his own time is his own.
He actually believed in panspermia. Yeah.
JM Truth.
JM Truth, no, it's not.
Oh, why not? It's laid claim to everything else.
Oh, dear. Barbara Gamow wrote a hilarious poem about arguments that this scientist had with Martin Ryle regarding quasar distribution in the universe. Flatzoid. No, it is not flatzoid. Along with William Alfred Fowler and Geoffrey and Margaret Burbridge, this man published a paper developing the theory of stellar nucleosynthesis, for which Fowler, but not this man, would win the 1983 Nobel Prize.
They cut him out. By the sounds of it.
Yeah, the discovery of this cosmic microwave background radiation essentially ended the case for the steady state theory that this man had heavily advocated for. You got to know who it is now. Come
Well,
on.
Clive says it's Hoyle.
That would be the same. That would be what the answer Clive gave. Yeah.
I like Carl Edwards at J.M. Hoyle. Yeah, it is. It's Fred Hoyle. It is indeed Fred Hoyle. Well done, Clive. Name this man who is credited for coming up with this name of the Big Bang Theory. It was that man, Fred Hoyle. Yes, Alan?
I'm guessing he would have failed to win the 1983 Nobel Prize because he died.
Probably because you can't award the Nobel Prize posthumously. That's right.
That's why the woman that was involved with the DNA discovery didn't get the prize, wasn't it? Because
That's
she also
right.
passed away.
Because she was dead. Yeah. All right. Question 6. The most popular GUI framework for this language is Tinter. TK Inter.
Okay. GUI framework.
I have an
Yeah.
extra letter just slipped in there for no reason.
Python was Python? Okay.
This language is by far the most popular language to use C3 linearization for method resolution order, which is necessary because it implements multiple inheritance.
Yeah,
Looks like we
lot of
have some
snakes
computer
on the plane.
programming people out there.
A few snakes on the plane out there.
Yeah, because it is indeed Python. Correct. Well done. Generator expressions in this language are enclosed in parentheses. Yep. This language does not automatically pass reference to instance or class objects, requiring one to use self when declaring a method.
Yeah.
Packages for this language can be installed using pip or setup tools. This dynamically typed interpreted language uses white space as a delineator and is ubiquitous in science because of its namesake num and sci libraries. Name this language developed by Guido van Rossum and named for John Cleese-led comedy troupe It is indeed Python.
Now for something completely different.
Some people
Yeah.
like it, some people don't. It is very popular.
Question 7. To prepare for this project, hydrazine was passed over an iridium catalyst to create hydrogen, which was burned to produce water.
Potatoes!
Can you elaborate on that, Farmer's Boy?
Yes, that's what the Martian grew on Mars, but he needed water.
Box labeled "Do Not Touch" until Thanksgiving provided some supplies for this project, which also used freeze-dried fecal matter as fertilizer.
In your face, Neil Armstrong.
Oh dear. The smaller products of this effort were reseeded while the larger ones were harvested.
Yeah.
You're sticking
I
with
don't
your
know how
answer,
many times
farmers?
I've read the book and seen the film, to be honest.
This project supplemented the pre-packaged food available in the hab, but it was ended when an airlock exploded and destroyed its products.
Yeah.
I think we need to give it
The
to
Martian.
Farmer's Boy, who got it on the first clue.
Yes. Well
In a
done,
novel by
farmers.
Andy Weir, Mark Watney succeeded at his task because he happened to be a botanist. Yeah.
Yes.
Name this agricultural activity which provided crucial nutrients in the Martian. It was growing potatoes on Mars.
Yes.
Yeah, well done, Farmer's Boy. From
It's the
first
line at
clue.
the end where he's got all these new to be astronauts and he says, right, first I'll get this out of the way. Yes, I did grow potatoes in my own shit. Because it's the only source of fertilizer he had. Everybody's
Yes.
dried frozen poo.
Yes.
All right. Question 8. Diabatic heating or turbulent mixing can non-conservatively resolve folds in this region. What region?
Aries 3.
Hot towers are defined by their presence in and crossing of this region. What region?
Yeah, no, not
Tropical.
tropical. Go.
The tropical gap. No.
No, you've already marked that one on the card,
Yeah,
Clive.
yeah. Away from the equator, the surface of the dynamic type of this region can be defined in terms of an absolute value of around 1.5 or 2 PVUs. What part of the atmosphere, Carl Edwards?
We have a troposphere.
Air rises in a Hadley cell until it reaches this specific region and then moves towards the poles.
Oh.
Dora is almost right, but not quite. Not the troposphere.
Trying to think
The
of a different load of the
stratosphere.
atmosphere now.
Close, but no cigar, Dora.
The stratosphere, Paul?
No. The lapse rate change is sign at this boundary as temperature increases with increasing altitude in the layer above this boundary as the layer contains the ozone layer. The key word there would be a boundary.
I sort of got
I
that
did
from the
notice
emphasis.
emphasis on that word, yeah.
So it's not the troposphere, Dora. It's the...
Tropopause, yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. Jet streams are bounded in altitude by this boundary. Identify this boundary named for separating the stratosphere from a namesake lower layer of the atmosphere. That would be the tropopause.
It's a good thing I didn't say permanent.
Well done, Blue.
Go on.
Now, here's a question for all those cartoon addicts out there. This character asks another to guess a number between 1 and 3, not including 1 and 3, but lets that person win after that person guesses 4 and M. Who is this character?
And that's ringing a bell as well. Oh, they're howling around the track.
This character says, you can't just have your characters announce how they feel. That makes me feel angry. Not MC2.
No.
No. Not Basil Fawlty. No. Not Louis Griffin. No. The entrance to this character's home is an amusement park that was shut down after a bunch of people got salmonella from the flume ride. Not Winnie the Pooh. No.
God, who lives in an amusement park?
This character sings Bender a song after Bender violates a contract to Robotology and wins a contest using a golden fiddle.
Well, I know
Right.
what it's from. I just don't know the character. It's obviously from
Come
Futurama.
on.
How long is it since I've watched that one?
Is it Freud?
This character has a ridiculously circuitous plan, which involves getting Bender to deafen Leela so that she can't hear Fry's concert and is tricked into marrying this character. Who is it? Not the Prof, not the Joker, not the Penguin. Ah, there we have it. Well done, Dora New. With the Robot Devil. That plan begins after Fry's frustration with his poor holophoner skills causes him to trade hands with this character. Name this character whose hands, according to a classic Futurama episode, are idle playthings. It is indeed the Robot Devil. Yeah.
I haven't watched
Robot Devil.
Futurama.
Well done. Well done, Dora. And the last question, which I think is distinctly this could be a Farmer's Boy question. A character protests. A character protests that he should be excused from saving this entity because of his malformed public duty gland and a natural deficiency in moral fibre.
Well, this is
That's on the tip of my tongue. Bugger. I know this one. I know this one.
A theory about the nature of this entity was invented by a man in order to annoy his wife and is able to deduce the nature of this entity from the composition of a piece of fairy cake.
I know where it's from. I just can't think of his bloody name.
Yeah, what entity? We know it's all from Douglas Adams,
yes,
Carl
I thought it
Edwards,
was.
but what entity are we talking about? The only person to survive a certain perspective vortex that shows you all of this thing is a certain Hoopy Frood with two heads.
With two heads.
Yeah.
Well, obviously we know who that is, but
what
that's
is
not
this
the answer.
entity?
How do you
What
go
is this
fast?
thing?
Is the person who saw it?
Not Marvin. No.
No.
According to one theory, this entity was sneezed out of the nose of the great green Artful Caesar.
Oh.
I'm just looking at the spelling.
Not the infinite improbability drive.
No, it's not that.
Not Zaphod Beeblebrox. No.
Zaphod was able to see it. He wasn't.
Another theory is that if anyone ever discovers the true nature of this entity, it will immediately be replaced by something even weirder. And according to another theory, that has already happened.
The universe.
Finally, we have the correct answer. Well done. You were beaten, Farmer's Boy, by Dora, who got the correct answer, which is the universe. Yes. The creation of this entity has made a lot of people very angry and has widely been regarded as a bad move.
Yes, it's the universe.
Yeah. The restaurant Milliways exists at the end of this entity and name this place.
At the end of the universe.
Yeah, which appears along with life and everything in the title of a Douglas Adams novel. It is indeed the universe. And that, folks, was your hard quiz for today.
Well done.
Thanks
Thank you
for
very
that,
much. I
Paul.
like that.
Well done. Good stuff.
Even though the universe threw me off because I kept thinking it's one of the characters and not the universe.
Yeah.
Well, it did for a little while, and then it was like, oh, what? I know when it got to the nose thing, I said, I know what, but I just couldn't think of it. Oh, dear. That's how it goes, doesn't it? Oh, well.
I guess more of a mention in the film that they did, the relatively recent film that had lots of extra shit in it that didn't need it in the first place. I still think
Yes.
the BBC TV series is the best thing they did.
It's best so far, I think. Yeah.
Mm.
The film.
I know that was based on the radio show that they did. That he sort of then based the books on the radio show and blah blah blah. I think the BBC TV series, it only got halfway through the second book, but
yeah,
I think that was a better effort than the film was.
No, I think
The
the
film
movie
was
they tried to
Pretty
introduce
crap,
stuff.
I thought.
Yeah, the movie tried to introduce stuff that just didn't happen and didn't do a great job of it. So, trying to create a lot of interest.
I mean,
yeah,
it did bring a nostalgic tear to my eye when I watched it, particularly when they kicked in with the original theme tune, and then when they're waiting to get all the paperwork stamped there in the queue was the original Marvin the Paranoid Android.
yeah,
The BBC series, but it
was more. Yeah, I don't know why they had to introduce the love interests to the extent that they did. That didn't sit well. But anyway.
What, you mean Trillian?
Yeah. Well, she didn't.
She was always in it.
She was in it, but she wasn't interested in what's he? It's not just that movie made it out too. Yes, it was a bit.
What, Arthur Dent? But
yeah, she wasn't into Arthur.
they did. They met at the party, and then this guy came along and said, "Why don't you come with me? I've got a spaceship."
Yeah. So I think the TV series did that much better than the movie tried to make something completely different out of that. Well,
I mean,
think
yeah, the radio
God.
shows were good, but
Yeah.
I prefer the TV series myself. But
What do we want to do? Is Dora dying for a Lindsay? Dora, do you want a Lindsay?
Yeah,
I
come
can
on,
do
we
the
haven't
tea.
had a Lindsay yet.
I haven't had
Yeah.
Lindsay yet.
Someone's just come back up in my Facebook. There are only two historically accurate aspects of Pearl Harbor. This is the film Pearl Harbor. One, there's a harbor in Hawaii called Pearl Harbor. Two, it was attacked. And that's it.
Yeah, I think that's about right, actually.
Hey, come on, Timbo, we've got to have a Lindsay because I have to be
Yeah, we need a
reminded.
Lindsay.
I have to be reminded that there's someone even dumber out there than Whitsett and Brian's logic.
I'm just
And
putting
Ben.
up a bingo.
And
here.
Nathan, take
Yeah.
your pick.
I have to go back a bit because you've got to go to the paid stuff now if you want new stuff. So I'm not quite up to that yet.
I mean, how do you claim that everything's electrostatic, but you don't believe in the atomic model?
Who's your fucking idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about? That's unreal, eh? That really is.
Yeah.
Oh, make a message. Let's get everybody. Who can see your message? Hang on. I'll change that to everyone. There we go. There's the Lindsay bingo.
Oh, let me get a card that might win.
Yeah, go a few times so you get one that you're happy
Yeah,
with.
exactly.
Multiple cards.
Or
I'm not the
do
only
you
one
put up
who does
multiple
that.
cards just to increase your chances?
But anything that increases the chance of us going bingo, stop the bloody video.
I double my charge rate for every card you pull up.
Damn, this one's got Kundalini on it. I need to regenerate.
You got to get rid of that one. I've got an older Lindsay because, as I said, he's trying to make money now. So. My card disappeared. I'll do another one. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could definitely do without Kundalini.
Yeah, I've got one without Kundalini. Oh, no, I haven't. Damn it.
I've got one of each.
Okay. Well, I'm about to start. So here we go. I'll put it on the speed as we go.
Welcome to the Tomb of Illumination, where I talk about a lot of things. One of them, and everything basically comes from knowing and understanding our flat earth system. because you can't connect to the greater realm, understand the meaning to life, unless you know and understand the flat earth design and how it's connected to us spiritually, physically as the brain, 2 hemispheres of the brain, 2 hemispheres. We'll break it down again. There's 2 hemispheres, north and south.
How can I not have
It's a
hemispheres?
slice through the donut, you could describe it as, or a pizza with a hole in the middle. Well, I talk about a lot of things, and today's video is celestial. Here in New Zealand on the 13th of July, we celebrated Matariki. Matariki is a Maori event, and they claim it's theirs and
Macaroni.
theirs only, I think. But I'm giving you the other version, okay? They've got their version, and I don't think they've got enough history or understanding to know exactly what it's all about.
I got the one.
Well, I can tell you they don't. So I am about to reveal to the world what this Matariki is actually all about. Now, their Matariki is the coming of Pleiades, the constellation, 7 stars, 6 possibly, 1 hidden. Well, if you've seen my earlier videos, I've talked about the Sirius, the arrival of Sirius. How we have Sirius on one horizon and Antares on the other. Like you could say counter forces.
The arc
Okay.
isn't it? Come on.
Part of our dual system in our realm, because everything's a dual system. You can count that as dual, or you can count this as dual. Divided by the tropical gap here.
Oh, tropical gap.
The outer perimeter.
Going for it.
Separated by the central Arctic area there. So, the arrival of Sirius is in regards to the divine enlightenment, the male entity. Okay, so the whole divine story of enlightenment is the feminine aspect coming into the male. Most of my stories are about the male side. I don't delve into the female much, but this one is about the female. Because the Pleiades constellation represents the feminine aspect in this whole divine event. It's connected with the June, July solstice, June-July solstice. Okay, and what occurs around that time is you get the mythological stories, the pagan stories of the young virgins dancing around the campfire in their white clothing, dresses. Well, the campfire represents the Milky Way, because the Milky Way is the connection between this whole divine event. There's 2 Milky Ways in our realm that people don't understand, have never been taught or told. There's one in the southern hemisphere and one in the northern hemisphere, and they come round and they can meet at a certain point, depending on where you are on the earth, where you are on a meridian, north to south. That is your alignment, your zenith, directly above. This is your hour. This is all about the divine event. I've done a lot of videos on that, but anyway, this one's about the feminine aspect, and the Pleiades represent those females. All the mythological stories involved with Pleiades, go check them out, go online, punch it in, and go through them all. I've talked about a lot of things you'll find in there. I'll read some off the phone if I've got time. But, so just behind Pleiades is Antares. And then Antares is connected to the black dog Anubis, the Egyptian story. And what they are doing is maybe honouring the mother, because the feminine represents the mother of creation. Without the female, we'd have no mother. They're most divine. When you understand the spiritual side of the female, it's
And the mother's a group.
orgasmic. Amazing, okay? It's a beautiful thing. So, like I say in my previous video, we talked a lot about the male aspect, and when Sirius arrives, that is your the season of enlightenment, okay? When Sirius arrives on the western horizon and travels through the sky over to the western horizon, okay? That's because the west signifies death, dying. He's dying on the crossover, okay? And then up pops Antares, which takes through the underworld. So it's basically Sirius is going under there, but Antares is driving you in the underworld. So then the people who get enlightened in this enlightenment season, spring, September spring, then get mummified and taken through the underworld for the 72 days. The Egyptians wrote all about this. It works out 72 days. The Osiris story. I'll do a video on that soon if I get my Patreon numbers up. explain the whole Osiris and Isis story. Never been told before, never explained properly. So it's all about the mother and the female. And when you look at Antares, what Antares doing? That's the mummification, and they're wrapping the bodies in white linen. So we come back to the white linen again. It's all to do with the white. You've got the wedding veil of the woman. She covers her face, so she's hidden. And that represents the seventh entity in the seven.
No, it doesn't.
Well, enlightenment involves 7 colours of the rainbow. But there's one hidden, like Palladius is supposed to represent 6, and the one is hidden, and that is the mother. So you've got the 7. You could say there's 7 stars
like
involved.
Female.
But it needs the mother that you don't see here. She comes along. She is the full moon in the Milky Way.
Full moon.
She makes the 7th. Like in Enoch, when he says, when the moon is balanced, which means bang on that alignment in the Milky Way, when she is even light, she gives her one
good reason
7th,
why they got rid of Enoch,
adds it to there. So that's so this man's six chakras, say whatever frequencies in the system.
Say
he needs that 7th entity, and that's the full moon in his.
What's the frequency?
His sign when he was conceived as a child, as a baby, at conception, the moon sign. That comes around later on in life, comes back to give him a second birth.
Well,
this is rebirth. It's gone through the physical birth when the moon was in Pisces, say. Now it's coming around full moon in Pisces. He's got his 6 colours all organised. Bang, bingo, he gets the 7th, voila, enlightenment. Because the story, that's why I don't believe that Dolly Parton never wrote that song, Jacket or Top of Many Colours. It's too divine. I think it's Freemason.
What?
She's a Freemason.
She didn't write that song. That's why.
The archives. They know all the stuff. They just don't tell us, okay?
She's bringing out a new album.
So it's a divine event representing the female, the male entity, female entity, the mother of our whole spiritual connection. Because the spiritual connection is male, female coming into male, becoming one, singular.
Oh, who said bingo?
Becoming the hermaphrodite.
Lindsay did.
Did he?
Lindsay said bingo.
Apparently.
Hang on. Replay.
Mason. She's a Freemason. It's come from their archives. They know all this stuff. They just don't tell us, okay? So it's a divine event representing the female, the male entity, female entity, the mother of our whole spiritual connection. Because the spiritual connection is male, female coming into male, becoming one, singular.
We ain't got there yet.
Becoming the hermaphrodite. And once again, we go back to the Baphomet, breasts, goat, looks real evil, but no, it's representing this divine connection of singularity. Male goat, but he was conceived in ram. Only the ram, being conceived in ram, Aries, at that certain period, makes you a king. So the ultimate one of all the divine stories is the Pisces.
Oh, Pisces.
And Pisces is the fishes.
Almost all the correlation.
And you could say a fishes is the gap between the 2 hemispheres. There's a celestial gap, divine gap.
Oh, there we go.
Check out my previous videos. You've got 2 rotations, northern and southern hemisphere star rotation.
3 I've got now.
There's a gap. You call that the fishes.
Oh, I've got more than
but
3.
at the same time, they're explaining that gap with the fishes, but
I need a
Pisces as well.
And a water
being the
spinning.
fish, the 2 fish. It's the sign, the stars, the zodiac sign.
The fish.
Fishes. The most divine of all enlightenment. He is the king, the one man that comes.
But he's a fish.
Now, like I say, I read some of that off, and there's a lot of information in there, and I couldn't be bothered going through it all. And I'm editing another video, so I couldn't get online and have it all printed off. I should print it all off and highlight all these passages that I've mentioned before.
He doesn't edit
just read one or
video.
two,
He's a liar.
You'd never know.
He is.
Or believe what I'm saying, maybe.
He's editing
But after reading
videos,
the whole lot,
taking up his phone and sticking it on YouTube.
You get the puzzle. And this is what all the divine stories are all about. They're all, let's go down and separate them, they say, he said. They become like God. Let's go down and separate the languages. So
I just had a horrible thought. Lindsay does these videos several times till he gets a take that he's happy with.
My God, what are the others like?
They're everywhere. You need to read it. Lots of philosophical stories, myths and legends, all the religions, the whole Nagamati library to understand fully. Remember, things aren't literal. You have to use this thing. So, okay, so let's look at the word matariki, the Maori word. Matariki, break it down in etymology. Mata, to kill. Sacrifice, it's about the sacrifice, because this person is sacrificed. He's been taken out of this realm we all live in, where everyone thinks everything's physical and only but understand the physical concepts of everything. No spiritual input. They don't wake up, they just reincarnate, keep going over and over again. So the shithole they leave, they have to come back to. So they do nothing, just let the politicians do what they want today, then they're letting their children come into that lifestyle. That's just sick. People are not doing anything about the present.
I got a
Not realising that their offspring are coming through into this more evil world. The more you leave it, the more evil it becomes. And you're going to come back in another form and go through all that again. So you have to wake this thing up. So it's all about the sacrifice. You've been sacrificed, kicked out of this realm. You're now
He's making this
yes, yeah.
And that's
you're a witness. You're the messenger. Okay, yeah. So you've come forth. You're now out on a limb. You've left the main circus, the zombie circus. Or he died, Arabic. He died. He did. You write this back to Antares, the mummification, black dog, preparing the body to go through the underworld for the 72 days. Why 72 days? Because it comes back up again when Sirius comes back up and goes through the cycle again. Rick, stack of hay or straw, smoke, steam, vapour.
Oh.
There's a lot of mention of steaks, smoke, steam and vapour as in smoke and mirrors because things are hidden. You could say the Milky Way is full of all that. It's all things are hidden inside there. That tomb, that chamber. And even the central realm above the Arctic is, we can't see the central vortex of creation. It might just be there, but it's the mirrored effect. There's a mirror effect going on in the central Arctic. We do not see it, but it's there.
Come on,
until you go into it.
And I've got a bingo.
You will not know it's there.
Or spiritual awakening,
Reich, German. The German language comes from Sanskrit. And you get most of your divine information from Sanskrit.
Matariki doesn't come from German.
Existence pretty much comes from Sanskrit. So if you can understand that language, break it all down, one word gives you a story like this. So German, say kingdom, realm, state. Not sure how that's totally connected to what I'm talking about now though, but mama, mother. Ricky, strength, power, leader. He becomes the king, like I say. In Norse it is the kingdom, realm, empire. Could be king of the realm, king of the empire. It all boils back to the royal family story. You look at all their symbols and stuff.
Norse mythology.
It's all connected. Ricky down here in Mary means onion. What the hell? What do they mean?
Don't
onion?
lose that number.
Well, the star rotations, the two star rotations are layered like onions. How would they know that though, eh? Because everybody back in the ancient time, we'd gone through a cycle. They all knew everything. Well, we're discovering now, they knew it all. The star rotations. You look at it, it's like layers of onions. So that's what I had there. And then we'll read some of this, some of the myths and legends about Pleiades. The Pleiades were 7 mountain nymphs, daughters of the Titan Atlantis. Their leader was Maia, the mother of Hermes by Zeus. So you got Maia the mother, Zeus the son, and Hermes, you could say is Jesus or Horus.
No.
Same sort of story, same story. 5 of the other Pleiades were also loved by gods. There's the 5 wandering stars, and then you've got the sun and the moon, there's 7, becoming ancestresses of various royal families. Illuminated, become royalty, kings, including those of Sparta and Troy. Remember the Trojan War? That's the whole story is about this area here, the celestial gap. This is on Earth, the tropical gap, but up in that gap here, all about what's going on here, because here's the female coming down here, females coming down, male going up to the centre here. It's all these females that are represented in this Pleiades story, in the celestial picture of things.
Come on, I need a spiritual awakening.
There is, you could say that zone there is Sirius. Their names means daughters of Peony, and also ladies of plenty, from the Greek word pleon, plenty.
Greek word plenty.
You go to the encyclopedia, Pleiades. The Pleiades are called daughters of, repeating that again, down here. They were the sisters of the Hades, going down into Hades. The long story. And 7 in number, 6 of whom are described as visible, and the 7th as invisible. Now, this invisible is also connected to this divine event. It's invisible. Man does not see it, but I'm about to just expose it all on my Patreon page. So if you're interested in this sort of stuff and you like my content, please give me a like, subscribe, and don't be afraid to get into that Patreon page. It's only $3.50 American a month.
That's like
So
27 New Zealand.
They were the sisters of Hades, and 7 in number, 6 of whom are described as visible, and the 7th as invisible. That's when the moon comes along, okay, and completes the picture. Some call the 7th Sterope, and relate that she became invisible from shame. No, it's not right. Because it all comes together down. I'm right. It all comes together when you add everything up, down, further on down through the myths.
Come on. Where's that spiritual awakening?
Alone among her sisters. Because she was alone among her sisters, had intercourse with a mortal man. This is where it comes into the spirit. The man on earth becomes spiritually enlightened through the celestial movements.
Close enough.
Having sex with a mortal man, that's what they mean by this.
Spiritual awakening.
He is spiritually awoken when his spiritual feminine half comes into him.
Here we go. I got bingo.
Did you get bingo?
Yeah, I got bingo.
Fuck for that, because I was waiting for metaphysics. Any other video, I'd had this a long time ago, because I've almost from the start waiting for black holes and hidden.
Mm-hmm. I got, hang on, I'm just trying to pull it. There it is. Put that in there. Here we go.
Good enough for me.
So, I was waiting on waters beneath and spiritual awakening for a long time. Yeah. I did. Look. See? Egyptians, moon, southern hemisphere, spiritual awakening vortex. Yeah, they were all there.
I missed quite a few of those. Oh, well.
You mean we could have had bingo earlier?
No, it wouldn't have helped, but...
okay.
No, I was still waiting for metaphysics, but that just wasn't going to come up, was it?
Nah.
No, we should learn how to pronounce that bloody star cluster.
Yeah. I was quite surprised.
Yes, because it's not really a constellation, is it? It's a star cluster.
It is, yeah. It's not a constellation at all. There's actually 9.
Yeah.
There's not 9 of the brightest stars. The 7 sisters and their 2 parents.
In fact, when I took a photograph of it a couple of weeks ago, using a 20-second exposure, there's a sight more than 9 bloody stars in it.
Oh yeah, but I think from the earliest times, 9 were quite visible. Back in the times of the Romans and the Greeks, because they had names. They had 7 sisters and 2 parents.
Yes, I think you pointed out too
that the brightest always known as the 7 sisters, or the Pleiades, not the Pallades. I mean,
ladies.
These Egypts just can't pronounce things right. I mean that Whitson and Brian one yesterday. There was something Brian kept saying. I thought, that's not how you pronounce that at all. Can't think what bloody was now.
What I like is how he says that and then goes to break the word down on his mispronunciation. So, yeah. And as you pointed out, the word, what is it, Matariki? Matariki? Doesn't mean anything like he says. It's just the name of
it. Absolutely nothing to do with what he said at all. Because if you just Google it, because as soon as he said what it was, I thought, right, I'll Google that, and you read the description, it's like, no, that's got nothing to do with what he's saying at all. Utter made up bollocks.
Yeah. Particularly when he, I liked the bit when he got to, what was it? Reich. Oh, yes, German, Reich for German, but it's got nothing to do with this. What? You put it in there. Silly man. Well, did that satisfy you?
German language is based on Sanskrit. I mean, what?
What? Apparently. Did that
I've never read that before.
Well, does that? You now know that there are stupider people out there. I can find one for you. Hang on. I've got a CC one. Okay, I've got a Leo. Do you want to hear Leo talk about the Indians? No?
I feel the need to fix my broken cup of tea.
Same here.
I got a second Leo.
I'll be cup of tea time.
I'm sure the peanuts will love to listen to Leo, but I need another brew. I'll be back. On this.
I don't know if I'd bother putting him on. I do have a second Leo where he doesn't talk about it. What's he talk about? I can't remember now.
Well, put something on there. I can go make a cup of tea as well.
Oh, okay. Let's throw something on. Here we go.
Some rare historical footage has just been found.
Go for it.
This footage totally exposes NASA, the space station, the space shuttle, the globe, and many, many others, as we're about to see. So here's the clip in question. It's just over a minute long. I'm going to play it without stopping. We're going to watch this astronaut here dig a deeper and deeper and a bigger and bigger hole for himself. And I'm going to come back to you at the end of this little short clip. And we're absolutely going to destroy the space industry off the back of this historical clip. See if you can spot the problem, okay?
Of course, it was the space shuttle, which is an incredible machine that got us up here. And once we got up here, Mike Bull, Claude Nicollier, Steve Smith, and myself got to get into our own spacesuits, our own spaceship in orbit around Earth. And these are incredible machines, and they allowed us to fix the Hubble Space Telescope. We sincerely like to thank all those folks at the Johnson Space Center, at Hamilton Sunstrand, ILC Dover, at Boeing, and all the various subcontractors that contribute to these great spacesuits, and all the tools that we use. We had over 500 piece parts out here to do our job, the tools, and of course all the training that we had to do at our large swimming pool, the neutral buoyancy facility. And without that large team, this couldn't have happened. And I know I feel especially privileged, as do all the crew members on board, and personally as an astronomer, as are Mike and Claude Nicollier, to have had the chance to work on the world's greatest telescope. And we hope to see it back in service very soon. And from the crew of Discovery, the STS-103 Hubble mission, we'd also like to wish everybody happy holidays and some peace on Earth.
Did you spot it? I suspect most of the regular viewers were all over it as soon as it revealed itself to us. Now, bearing in mind, the astronaut who was narrating the video here had told us he'd got to space via the space shuttle, was currently orbiting the globe Earth in his space shuttle while he was fixing the Hubble Space Telescope. Now, that made for a wonderful story. That was until his pal decided to lift his head up behind the space prop here, whack-a-mole style, and in doing so, reveal NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Lab lighting setup in the reflection of his helmet for us all to see. You can see it there, the rows of lights in the astronaut's helmet on the right-hand side there. We look at NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Lab, the lighting setup,
it's not the
and
same.
of course we can see the Hubble telescope, which is supposed to be a mock-up training one. But based on this official Hubble telescope footage, we can now safely say this is the real Hubble telescope. No doubt the data they get is from telescopes based on Earth or ones based in planes like Sophia. That's not my opinion regarding this being the real Hubble telescope. That now is a demonstrable fact backed up by historical footage showing NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Lab's lighting setup in the reflection of the helmet of one of NASA's astronauts who's supposedly fixing a space telescope in space. The Hubble, the real Hubble, is, believe it or not, underwater. Not my opinion.
Yes, it is.
An historical, demonstrable fact backed up by two NASA legends.
No.
Dear, oh dear.
But But if there was a water-air interface above them that those lights were shining through, they would not be looking anything like they do when you're above water, would they?
No. That's the thing. There's so much wrong with that statement, apart from the fact they don't look.
And
like
also,
the same.
and also looking at that mock-up of the Hubble in the tank,
yeah,
if they were anywhere near the top end of that, a lot of those lights would be not showing through because the direction they'd be looking, they'd be getting total internal reflection off the surface anyway.
Yeah. Well, they'd also be wavering because when you get the water, there's no way they could be moving without the surface of the water moving. So that's probably a big one to me because they're pretty constant. Yeah.
42.
But and also sheer fact that they don't line up and they don't look the same and a whole lot of other things. But let's not let facts get.
What you got there, farmers?
You know, he's talking about Douglas Adams. I've got another book with my name in it. Somebody's put together. This is a book of various notes, ideas, thoughts, and stuff that Mr. Adams was working on, and this has all been compiled by somebody who knew him quite well. And it's another one of these unbound books, so that they announce it and you say, yes, I'll quite happily pay for one of them if you print it, and they stick your name in the back.
Couldn't they just send you a PDF?
Yes, I think I did get a PDF of it as well, but you can't beat. I mean, it is quite.
Yes, you can.
It's a
half a tree,
chunky book.
Except for the poor tree that got cut down to make the.
Sod the trees. Sod the trees.
Sod the trees.
Somewhere in amongst all that lot is my name. I seem to be getting quite a few of these now.
You got to find them. Got to find your name, or we don't believe you.
No, unfortunately, this one they print them all in alphabetical order, so you can. It's not,
so
not
you
too
can,
difficult. Some
so you can look up your
totally
name.
Random.
Yeah.
It's like.
I believe your name's it. I trust it. I found the flat Earth is going to do an experiment and almost makes sense. So there you go. Flat Earth truth.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to High Altitude Balloon Project number 2, Infrared. Now, as some of you can remember, we did this in 2021, and it turned out pretty good, being that it was our first time ever doing it. But we did learn a lot on that launch, and on this launch, we're going to be doing some things different. We're actually going to be using infrared camera lenses this time. And what the infrared will do will block out all the haze and clouds and all the atmospheric interference that happens.
Is that the right infrared to you?
They literally think infrared is magic, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It'll block out everything. There we go.
With the normal lens.
But wasn't that an infrared block filter he had in his fingers?
Yeah.
Rather than an infrared pass?
There you go. You have to look that one up. Yeah, actually, I might have said on the packet. Hang on. Just says infrared filter. That's it. Infrared, yeah, that's all. So it's not going to go green like
clouds,
that, too.
All the atmospheric interference that happens with the normal lens of the cameras we used last time. And also this time we're going to be doing it in the fall when it's not so hot and hazy out in the atmosphere, which will give us a whole lot clearer view of what the Earth actually looks like. And we are setting that launch date for October the 28th. So if you are interested, come on over to the donation page at Donor Box. I'll leave the link in the description for you guys. You guys helped out a big time last time, so we hope that we can get the same help this time. Anyways, I'll leave the link in the description. You guys come and check it out, come and help out, Everyone, thanks for watching. Have a good evening and God bless.
There you go. Can we
Terry
send Blue,
R. Iker.
can we send Blue over to give him a hand? Blue, you want to go give him a hand? No? Not jumping at the opportunity?
No, strangely enough, he's not.
No. Funny that. Ah, dear. I was thinking of sending you this DFE's got a video on how to prove that the Indians actually went to the moon. 12 minutes long. How about instead I've got a quiz myself. Just gotta find it. Just a fun movie quiz.
Movies.
Movies. Movies. Movies. I'm gonna find it first. Give me a sec. I should have had this all set up ready to go, but I don't. So. Oh, where are you? You're in there. Okay. In my Timbo Turtle folder. Where else do I put him?
Okay, that filter does block everything. It's supposed to block anything shorter than 950 nanometers.
Right. Oh, well. I'm wondering how well they're going to balance it out, or whether they're just going to hang a camera on the bottom of a balloon. Hope for the best. Anyway, we'll see.
Well, of course, I'm going to hope that they're going to remove the IR block filter from in front of the sensor of whatever camera they're going to put up there with it.
Well, you hope so, yeah.
Because
I hope they're going to take the lens cap off, which is the next one. Okay.
Right then.
Are you right then? A little bit of a movie quiz. It's even multiple choice. Here you go. I even decided to do a whole new script and animation. Okay. Question. The code of the matrix comes from what food recipes? Sushi, dumplings, stir fry, or pad thai? Okay, you can
This
throw
is
your
bullshit.
letters.
I usually know about films, but I don't know this one.
Dora reckons pad thai.
Sounds probable.
Sounds probable. I can tell you it's one of those that's listed up on the screen. It is
E.
Sushi. Sushi.
Really?
Yeah, sushi recipes.
You have recipes for raw fish.
Well.
And rice.
Yeah.
It all depends how much salmonella you want to add, famous boy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Cut with sharp knife, clean,
character. Oh,
and leave out for 2 days. Okay. What is the name of Meatloaf's character in a Rocky Horror Picture Show? Was it Henry?
No.
Eddie? Chuck? Or Al?
It's Eddie.
pretty sure it was Eddie.
I'm pretty sure it was Eddie.
It was Eddie. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Who actually drew the sketch of Rose in the Titanic movie? Okay. You ready out there in the peanuts? Was it Leonardo DiCaprio? Billy Zane? You were Billy Zane already some well, I have a feeling he's a little bit behind. James Cameron or Kathy Bates?
Leonardo.
You think Leonardo drew the sketch?
Or who actually drew it?
Yeah.
I bet that was probably James Cameron, the director.
Yeah. Yes. It wasn't Leonardo. It was James Cameron. Actually, drew the sketch. Rose and the
There you go.
Titanic movie.
Yeah, I knew it weren't Leonardo.
No.
And the other
Okay.
two just didn't make sense, considering that James Cameron was the director of the film.
Yeah, Kathy Bates doesn't strike me as a.
No, exactly.
Okay. Oh, this'll be a hard one for you. Who voices Joy in the Pixar's movie Inside Out?
Yes, it will, because I've never seen it.
Tina Fey.
Same here.
Catherine Powell.
Never heard of that one.
Ellen DeGeneres. You would have heard of her.
I've heard of her.
Amy Poehler.
Who's she? Who are these people?
Oh, you got a one in
I'm
Portugal.
going to go with the only one I've heard of, Ellen DeGeneres.
I'll go D. D.
D. Go D.
I don't know.
Yeah, Paul gets it right.
I've gone Fleetwood Mac as a very, very wise choice there.
Yeah.
Who's Amy Poehler?
Amy Poehler. Yeah. Okay.
Who is she?
She's the person
That's
who
a wise
voices
one.
Joy
Who
in
is she?
the Pixar movie. Okay. Where? Oh, this was too easy. Do I need to put up the options?
Come on, what are the options?
Yeah, come on, let's see the options.
New Zealand, New Zealand, New Zealand, or New Zealand?
Ireland? Iceland?
No, that's where Braveheart was filmed.
New Zealand? Or Australia?
I'm going for C.
You're going for C?
Yeah.
You're going for C?
Yeah.
Yeah, Braveheart, that very famous film about a Scottish guy, was filmed in Ireland. So
Okay.
yeah, it's
New Zealand.
yeah,
Okay.
New Zealand, Land.
Which country does Forrest Gump go with the All-American ping pong team? Is it Vietnam, China, Sweden, or France?
I thought
Nah, come on, it's got to be China.
it's got to be China.
China.
China. Yeah, it goes to China.
China.
I don't know. Never seen the movie.
I still can't believe you haven't seen Forrest Gump. It's really
You've got
worth
to-
watching.
It's worth watching. It's definitely worth it.
It's a most excellent film,
It is.
and it's got Freebird in it. So you know,
Which famous Pulp Fiction scene was filmed backwards? Yeah, got it. Have you seen Pulp
backwards.
Fiction, Alan?
Yes, I've seen Pulp Fiction. Once.
That is
I
a
haven't.
tasty burger.
You haven't?
No.
No, I think it's a good film. It's worth watching once, at least. Okay, Vincent Maria's dance scene. Mia's overdose scene. The royal cheese scene. Oh, sorry, Royale with
Royale.
cheese. So, yeah. What do they call it? Cheese Royale? Oh, Royale with cheese. Or Ezekiel 25:17 scene. All very famous scenes in the Pulp Fiction's film.
I think it's the overdose scene.
Oh, we got an overdose. We got B says it's the overdose. So Carl says it's the overdose scene. And so does Turing Test, and that is because it is the overdose scene.
Because the other three, there's really far too much talking in it for it to be filmed backwards.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Who was the first black person to win an Oscar? Person of colour might be better.
I'll wait for the
Was
choices.
it?
I think I know who that was.
Hattie McDowell, Sidney Poitier, Dorothy Dandridge, sorry, and James L. Jones.
I think it was Sydney.
I think it was Sidney Poitier as well. I don't think James L. Jones has won an Oscar, has he?
Surely he won one
Actually,
for Darth
James Earl
Vader.
Jones.
I mean,
Post-date
he should
Sydney.
have done just for being the voice of Darth Vader, you know.
He should have been for Conan the Barbarian, surely. Come on.
Was he that good in that?
No, he
Really?
just sat in the throne and turned into a
Really?
snake. Come on.
But when he is, to everybody, he is pretty much Darth Vader. I mean, just for that alone, he deserves an Oscar, I think.
But no, James L. Jones was not the right person. I will tell you, this person could not go through the front door to receive their reward. It was Hattie McDowell. Daniel, sorry.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that is
don't
from
know.
Gone with the Wind.
go to the librarian.
I'll have to- Okay.
I like that, Dora. You win extra points for that.
Freddy Krueger wears a striped sweater. Of which colours is it? Red.
It's not
and
pretty.
blue? Is it orange and green? Is it red and green? Is it orange and brown?
It's a long time since I've watched them, but I'm fairly certain it's red and green.
Yeah.
Red and white. It's not red.
Don't
and
think
white.
it's blue, so it's red and green. It's red and something.
Yeah,
Turing
it's
test,
red,
red
I'm
and
fairly
white.
certain it's red and green.
That's Where's Wally. Turing test, completely different character, different horror film. Completely, just
Yes, yeah. Where's Waldo?
Okay. Sorry, what were our answers? Who's got what? We've got a red and green, have we? We've got an orange and green.
I'm going with red and green.
I've got red. Same
Red
here.
and green. We've got red green seems to be the correct answer, which is right. Okay.
Don't watch any of them after the third one because they just get ridiculous.
Who did the cat in the classic movie The Godfather belong to?
Don't know. Don't like them. I think they're
Was
vastly
it Francis
overrated
Ford Coppola? Diane Keaton? Don't know where that one came from. Al Pacino? Or The Cat Was a Stray?
Has Al Pacino's name got an H in it?
I don't know. Check that.
I think so.
Oh. Excuse my keyboard.
Yeah, I'd go with a stray. Yeah, why not? Whose cat is it? He'll do.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
I go with
doesn't
Dora's
have an H.
answer. Trick question. The cat owns the people.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Oh,
Any cat owner will tell you that.
you reminded me of something to show you later. Yeah. No, Al Pacino does not have a H in it.
I didn't think it did. That makes him sound like a pair of trousers. Or his dad's trousers. I reckon the cat was a stray.
Sorry, I was here, but I was just looking for something quickly. Oh, no, I can't.
Hello,
find
little
that.
wolf. Pat in the head. Yeah, Mick Fleetwood. Well, that makes a change.
Okay. It was The Cat Was a Stray.
Yay!
Okay. What is the name of the fictional land? Oh, this is the hardest question I think I've got in this quiz for people to hear. What is the name of the fictional land where Frozen takes place?
Don't know. Never watched it.
As I said, hardest question.
Strangely enough.
Have watched it. Still don't know.
Yeah, here you go. What's it? Arundel, Naples, Florin, or Glim?
It's A. Arundel.
It
Is
is.
it?
Yep. It
Yeah.
is.
No,
Arundel.
I'm proud that never watched Frozen. Because why the fucking hell would I?
I can tell you I've watched Frozen and Frozen 2.
No.
Although I have to say, Frog Leap Studios' version of the Frozen theme tune is absolutely brilliant.
Oh, right.
The heavy metal version.
Oh, cool.
He's a Norwegian guy of Italian descent, and I can't pronounce his name, but he's brilliant. He plays all the instruments and cuts it all together and does the video. And he does the video as if he's playing all his young daughter's toy musical instruments in her bedroom.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's brilliant.
I just made Schrodinger.
I just found something, hang on. This is something I found on my next 3D print.
Schrodinger's box with a cat that's dead and sometimes alive.
Schrodinger's
I
cat.
designed
I like
the whole
that.
thing in CAD before sending it over to the 3D printer.
I liked it.
I added some magnets, printed and cut out the eyes, assembled all the parts, and tested the flywheel.
What do you reckon? Have a good little 3D print.
Everything's looking good, so it's time to print the rest of it.
Yeah.
I painted the whole thing to...
You get the gist. Back to the quiz.
Dr. Nimrod has the guy's name for us. Yeah,
all right.
You can tell that is a name I would not be able to pronounce.
No. I'll have to look it up. I'll put it in while we're looking.
Leo Morachilli, or is it Morachilli? Who knows?
Okay. So, next question. What score did Ellie Woods get in at LSAT in Legally Blonde?
Oh God, I've seen this. No
It is 155, 166, 170, 179. And for those who don't know, and I had to look it up just to check, to get into law, you need greater than 150.
Couldn't tell you. I wasn't paying that much attention to the film.
No. She got 179. It's one of the jokes in the film. She actually got a greater score than her boyfriend. So
No, yeah. Doesn't sound very good familiar. It's not a film you go back and rewatch.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it a couple times. It's not bad. Which movie is famous line from? I wish I knew how to quit you. Now, this is going to test your what you watch. Love Actually. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Never seen that one.
Brokeback Mountain.
Never seen that one.
The Notebook.
Never seen that one.
Haven't seen any of them.
I know I've seen Love Actually because I think we had to go to the cinema to watch it when it came out. What a pile of shite that was. Couldn't tell you.
Just seeing if anyone gets it out there. Okay, it was the test. But Brokeback Mountain. There you go.
Oh, the gay cowboys.
Yes, the gay cowboy film. I didn't know that one. Not that it says anything about me, but it just says I haven't seen Brokeback Mountain. What was the top grossing film in 2014?
You expected me to remember 2014?
It's okay. I'm going to give you four movies to choose from. Was it?
Okay.
The Hunger Games, Mockingjay, Part 1. The Lego Movie.
Awesome!
Captain America, The Winter Soldier.
Not quite so awesome.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, now. That's a toss-up between Guardians and Lego, I reckon. If they all come out in that year. I would reckon it's probably the Lego Movie. Because everything is indeed awesome.
We've got 2 for Guardians of the Galaxies and a couple for Captain America. So it looks like the overall is going for the Guardians of the Galaxy, which would be correct. It was the Guardians. It was the good.
The problem is they're both bloody good films. Whereas Captain America was just...
Yeah, that was a bit of a...
And the Hunger Games, you're just being greedy. Why did you split it into 2 films? Didn't need to be.
No, definitely didn't. Yes, The Winter Soldier was a bit of a filler film, I think, really.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, just to introduce the idea that S.H.I.E.L.D. had fallen and, a few things. Okay. How old was Stockard Channing when she played the teenager Rizzo in Grease? Any clues before I put up the clues?
I think she was in her 30s. At least.
Thinks in her 30s. We got 44 from Dora. Okay, the clues are
42. The answer is the question.
27, 33, 35, or 20?
Well, I'll go 33 then.
33? Is that
And a
close?
third. 33 and a third.
Yeah.
33. That could be dangerous, going 33, you know. It is 33.
Oh, well done.
She was a bit of an old teenager.
Yes, they usually are in these films.
What item is in every Fight Club scene?
Oh, God. So long since I've watched that one.
Was it a Coca-Cola can, a Starbucks cup, a Dunkin' Donut, a Pepsi bottle, a towel? Was it?
I'm going with Starbucks, but I'm not.
Oh dear.
Nathan opens his purple.
Oh dear. I was going to say an actor, but anyway. That was a bit better. Okay. And yes, Springfield's got the correct answer. You can't talk about Fight Club.
That's right. Let's roll a Fight Club.
Yes, it was the Starbucks cup.
Yes.
I did find that clip, by the way.
I went with my gut. Yeah.
We'll play a little bit of this at the risk of getting copyright strike. Okay, that's enough.
Okay, we get you.
That's enough. Next one. Oops. Push the right button.
Oh, we got more.
We got more. Hang on. Yep. Which movie is a quote from? He's looking at you, kid.
He's looking at you, kid.
What movie? You know who said it? But
Casablanca.
Casablanca. So it wasn't Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Breakfast at Tiffany's, yeah, right.
It wasn't Citizen Kane. It was Casablanca. And it wasn't Notorious. Yeah, right.
It's Casablanca.
It is Casablanca.
Christ, that's one of the most famous film lines of all time, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Okay. Some of the Velociraptor noises in Jurassic Park are of which animals mating? Is it tortoises, frogs, lizards, or crocodiles?
I think it's tortoises. I remember reading this somewhere, but I'm not 100%. I think it's tortoises. But I could be wrong.
Could be wrong. Yeah, I got a few A's out there. I got a B from Turing. It was tortoises.
And they weren't velociraptors. They were too big to be velociraptors.
They were inventions. Like
They were Deinonychus. But that didn't sound as catchy as velociraptor and raptor. So
that's right.
They were about the size of a turkey.
Let's not let facts get in the way of a fictional story.
I know.
And they were probably feathered as well, weren't they?
Okay.
What's that?
They were probably feathered as well, weren't they?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes, that is right. Dora James L. Jones has not played the actor, the Joker, but he's not in my list. So, okay. Which one of these hasn't played the Joker? Jack Nicholson.
Oh, Christ. One of the best Jokers, I thought.
Sean Penn. Jared Leto.
He's definitely
Mark Hamill.
It's Sean Penn.
Have a B. We have a Sean Penn. That is true.
It's definitely because the other three have definitely played the Joker.
Mark Hamill has probably played the Joker more than anyone else.
Yes, if you actually went for airtime, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the others have only done films, and Mark Hamill's done it in Christ knows how many cartoons.
Yeah, and they've got him to do a couple of voiceovers and a few other things too. That's a joke.
Yeah.
Okay, which two movies started from the same script? Was it Star Wars and Close Encounters, E.T. and Poltergeist, The Goonies and Indiana Jones, or Jurassic Park and The Land Before Time? Airplane. Yes, Airplane was probably from the same script, but it's not one of my questions. We have a C and we have a D out there.
I'd guess C.
I would guess C as well.
We got a few people going with C, and we got Turing Test go with D. I think you're both wrong. It was E.T. and Poltergeist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
The end.
Well, I know. Thank you very much. I like that. E.T. and Poltergeist. I don't see it myself.
I'm going to play him. Yes, E.T. and Poltergeist. Now you've got to think about that one really carefully.
Yeah.
Remember, yeah. I think I think the script did change a fair bit. Obviously.
Ashikoka. Yeah.
I actually didn't mind Poltergeist as one of the first, let's call it a horror film that I actually enjoyed. I don't see it so much as a horror film myself. I think it's like a sci-fi supernatural film. But
it's not a bad film though.
yeah.
You only moved the headstones. You didn't move the bodies.
They're here, as she said.
I quite like that. Is it the end of the first one or the second one where they? I think it's in the first one. They end up in a motel and they all go in and the door closes. Then the door opens and the TV gets pushed out.
Yes,
and the door closes.
That's the first one.
Yeah, we'll leave the TV outside this time.
Yeah, it's been they all rush in and then 2 seconds later, no TV. We're back in the old Cafe Ray TV days. Yes. No, I didn't mind that film. It had a good balance of humour and suspense, I suppose. Yeah. And the other thing, of course, is Spielberg. It was like to have a lot of light in his films, so it wasn't this dark, dingy thing that most other horror films were. Sort of.
Oh, sometimes now I'm watching stuff and it's so bloody dark, and if it isn't, if I'm not watching it at 9, it isn't pitch black. It's like, what the fuck's going on? I can't see anything. Why does it? If it's scary or suspenseful, it's got to be in the dark.
Yes.
Why can't we have horror in daylight or with the bloody light switched on?
Well, that's why I would like Poltergeist, because it was sort of like, it did it in a way that was much more sense. You go into a room, you turn the light on. You don't, you don't have you don't go down to the basement. Oh, the light doesn't work. Oh, therefore I won't get a torch or fix the light bulb or whatever. It's like you can't see. You're not going in there.
One of those that got me that wasn't all in the dark was Arachnophobia.
Oh yeah,
and that movie really did get me because I really don't like arachnids.
Yes,
that's fair.
That's fair enough, I think. Yes. Although that has a bit of humour in that one, but yes, if you don't like spiders, you're not going to like that one. Yeah, well, it's full of them. They're going to remake that film, and I don't know. I haven't heard much about it. I don't think it's worth remaking myself, but anyway. I think because there was a lot of practical effects in that film, and I think their planning was to do a lot of sci-fi, CGI. And I think part of what made the film was doing the practical effects. They're actually real spiders running over people.
They did that with the prequel to The Thing, and they originally did it all with practical effects, like they did in The Thing from 1982, whenever it was, and that's half the charm of the film. And then someone in the studio said, no, redo it all with CGI. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
sometimes you can't beat that's why the director who does things like Interstellar, what's his bloody name? Nolan, is it Chris Nolan? He likes practical effects. One of the Batman films where you see this whole articulated lorry, this whole truck and trailer go up in the air and flip over.
Yeah.
They did that.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody else would go, oh, we'll just CGI. He said, no, we'll do it for real.
Because
you watch Interstellar, most of that stuff in there, it's practical. It's not CGI. And I think even these days, I was watching some of it the other day. I watched the first of that new Star Wars series.
Yeah.
And she strode across this desolate planet. I just looked at it and went, well, that's CGI.
Yeah. Whereas they could have.
So I don't care how good it is. Most of the time, you can tell it's CGI. It just doesn't look right.
To me, all the good CGI is when they put it in subtly, and they film something in real life, but add subtle touches and things to improve it, not just completely replace the universe with CGI.
I think the only time it's really worked well is both of the Avatar films. Particularly that second one, there were certain scenes in there. It's just like this looks fucking real.
Well, the Avatar. What annoyed me about the second Avatar film is from a CGI aspect, it's brilliant, but from a storyline, it's a little bit like. But it wasn't too.
There's a story.
Yeah, there is sort of. It just didn't go very far. Anyway, visually it was brilliant though. What was I going to say? I do have something I was going to watch, but I hadn't got around to watching it. I thought it might be about the right time. What have we got? Yeah, it's just about 16 minutes. This was a little while ago. Bob talking about the Taboo conspiracy and pilot stuff. I don't know if you saw those ones about pilots.
Science guy. Sitting around for a bit.
Yeah. So let's see how he goes.
Thanks from Northern Michigan. This is Bob, the Science Guy. Long time
louder,
no see. Now, as you know, I've not made many videos lately because I've been pretty busy with my primary job, but a new set of videos came out that just required my attention. And they're from this gentleman, Taboo Conspiracy. And here are the videos in question. How a Pilot Ended the Globe, Part 1 and Part 2. These are definitely making the rounds on the Flat Earth servers in the Flat Earth community. And they seem to view everything that this guy puts out as an absolute slam dunk flat earth proof. Now, while in the first video he spends a lot of time demonstrating that he has no idea how airplanes work, the meat of the matter is that he has a time lapse of a flight from Zurich, Switzerland to Sao Paulo, Brazil. Now, it's a nighttime flight with stars and the Milky Way clearly visible through the windscreen of the aircraft, and he watches it over thousands of miles. Now, based on his extremely limited understanding of astronomy, he feels that this is a slam dunk flat earth proof and absolutely disproves the globe. I'm going to go ahead and let him make his argument.
We are going to analyze an amazing time lapse filmed by a pilot on a flight from Munich, Germany to Sao Paulo, Brazil. You can find the unedited version on this website. Please note that this Beyond Clouds website has no association with the Flat Earth, which means this evidence comes from an unbiased party. The distance for the full flight from Munich to Sao Paulo is over 6,000 miles, but the recording was only for approximately 3,000 miles. That begins before Palma, located on the island of Majorca, Spain, and the video ends before the equator after the plane passes Dakar, Senegal, on the western coast of Africa. Of course, some movement of the stars is expected with any time lapse. Keep in mind that when you're in the north and facing southwest, like in this flight, the stars should rotate in a downward slant to the right and clockwise motion, somewhat like this. For this time lapse, we're going to track these two stars. The one on top seems to have a tail of stars that rise up and to the left. It's easy to spot. For brevity, I'm going to speed up the footage. The plane is going to adjust its heading left and right a few times, but try to keep an eye out for those two stars. There are the two stars again. Here they are over on the right side. They have dropped a little, but here they are again. And that's the end of the time lapse.
Okay, so there's his argument. Now there's a couple of very interesting things that he notices in here. First of all, the Earth is rotating. And as you can clearly see from these star trails right here, it's rotating in a clockwise fashion because they're heading more or less south. The second claim that he is making is that on a globe, the stars will appear to rise in the windshield. Now here's the problem that he runs into. Now even though he recognizes that both of these things are occurring, in other words, the stars are rotating and they're rising in the windshield, he doesn't seem to make the connection between the two. So let's go ahead and analyze this video from a scientific standpoint and see what's actually going on. The first thing that we need to do is that we need to figure out what we're looking at. Well, the first step is going to be identify the flight path of the aircraft. I've sent a note to the company that made the video to see if I could get the actual date of the flight. And I'll update that if it changes anything from this video. But we're going to use the initial comments in that video of April 2017 as an approximate date of the flight. That'll come in important later. Now here's the flight. It's Swissair 92 from Zurich, Switzerland, not Munich, but Zurich, Switzerland to Sao Paulo, Brazil. Let's go ahead and pull it up on FlightAware. Okay, so here's Swissair 92, and as I said, it's from Zurich, Switzerland to Sao Paulo, Brazil. Now, here's the current flight, but if we go back a little bit, we can find past flights. And the reason that I'm doing this is that the flights are taking a very specific route. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at this one right here. Now, as you can see, there's the flight route. According to what Ben was saying, it actually went over this island right here and Cape Verde down here. So that's not really close to the flight that we had, although it's not all that bad. There's going to be a reason that I'm going to try and find a closer flight. Now this flight is probably a little bit closer to the actual flight. As you can see, we're going over that little island in the Mediterranean, and it's going over Cape Verde over here. Now why did I do this? I wanted to get the timing of the flight. And if you look right here, and by moving this slider right here, we can find out when the plane was over Dakar, and likewise we can find out when it was over Palma. Now the reason that this is important is we need to know approximately how long of a flight it was from Palma to Dakar. Now the aircraft was over Palma about 1 hour into flight from Zurich, and then at about 5 hours into flight it was over Dakar. So there is about 4 hours difference between the two. The speed of the aircraft is 578 miles per hour. Now just looking at Google Earth from Palma to Dakar, we're looking at just over 2,000 miles. And at an average speed of 578 miles per hour, 4 hours is a pretty reasonable transit time between those 2 points. So let's go back to Taboo Conspiracy and see what Ben has to say about this.
This is the beginning position of the stars. Approximately 3,000 miles later, here is the ending position. As expected, the star slightly rotated clockwise and dropped slightly. You can even see how the star on top with the tail looks a little bigger and has rotated clockwise. So, what is the problem with this time lapse for the globe? The problem is that the plane has to be dipping its nose to account for the alleged curvature of the Earth. For simple illustration, if I had a stunning view of the stars at the beginning of my flight, as time progresses and the nose of the plane drops to account for the curvature of the Earth, the stars should appear to rise up like this. In fact, the nose of the airplane is allegedly dropping while the stars, which are somewhat fixed and allegedly separate from the Earth, should appear to rise up
Allegedly.
if we lived on a ball. But you don't need to believe my illustrations. Fortunately, Google Earth allows us to model this same flight with the stars in the background and shows us exactly what would happen if we lived on a globe. For this Google Earth model, I used our distance of roughly 3,000 miles on the exact same flight route that I showed earlier. I set the altitude at 10,000 meters or 32,800 feet. Remember, this is how the globe should work. Now, watch the stars.
But where's time? That's just the same shot at the same time.
There's no question about it. As the viewpoint continually dips, the stars rise up exactly as we would logically expect if we lived on a ball.
Do you guys see the error
Not
he's
if,
making already?
not
Let's
if
go
you
ahead
let
and
the Earth rotate.
That too.
have a look back here. Now, what I want you to do when you look at the Google rendering of this flight simulator, it's called Google Flight Simulator, I want you to pay special attention to the Milky Way. And more importantly, I want you to pay special attention to the orientation of the Milky Way. Let's have a look.
This is how the globe should work. Now, watch the stars.
Straight up.
There's no question about it. As the viewpoint continually dips, the stars rise up, exactly as we would logically expect if we lived on a ball.
So what's the problem here? He is completely neglecting any rotation that occurred during that 4-hour interval between Palma and Dakar. So as the stars are rising up, they're also rotating. So let's go ahead and have a look at this in Stellarium. Now a little bit of astronomy. What I did was I did a screen grab of his view of the Milky Way and his 2 stars in question, and you can see it right there. And I uploaded it to something called Astrometry.net. And what it'll do is it'll take that image and it will plate solve it and tell me exactly what stars we're looking at and where we are looking in the sky. And here's the results. You'll see part of the zodiacal constellation of Sagittarius. Now the stars that he's referring to in this video are Claus Australis and this star right here, which is in reality not a star at all. That is the Ptolemy star cluster. So let's go ahead and have a look at that region of the sky from Palma and approximately the time of the flight. So we've set Stellarium up for Palma, Spain. You can see the latitude and longitude there. It's about 39 degrees north and about 2 degrees east longitude. Now what we have to do is we have to get the date in. Now as I said, when they originally posted this video on the original site, it started getting comments in April of 2017. So let's go back to April of 2017 and see if we can match up the images that Taboo Conspiracy is posting. Okay, so here is Stellarium from Palma, and this is going to be on April 6th, just after midnight. So right here we have Claus Australis, and here we have Ptolemy's cluster. Now let's go ahead and compare that to his images. If you look at Ptolemy's cluster, Claus Australis is going to be over at about 10 o'clock. So let's go ahead and have a look at his image. Here we have Ptolemy's cluster, and here we have Claus Australis. Notice that Claus Australis is at about 10 o'clock from the Ptolemine cluster. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to stay at Palma, but we're going to advance the time 4 hours to take into account flight time from Palma down to Dakar. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. That's approximately the time that we're going to reach Dakar. So let's go see where the Ptolemine cluster and Claus Australis is, or for that matter, where Sagittarius is. I don't see it, do you? Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit. I don't see the constellation Sagittarius, and I don't see Claus Australis or the Ptolemine cluster. Let's go ahead and turn off the ground. Well, there's the constellation Sagittarius. There's Claus Australis, and there's Ptolemy's cluster. But the horizon is way up here. Let's go ahead and put the Earth back in. That's well below the horizon. You know why? Because Earth is a sphere. So our 2 stars would be well below the horizon had we just stayed in Palma for 4 hours. But we didn't. We continued south towards the south celestial pole. Well, here's the horizon. Where's Claus Australis, Sagittarius, and the Ptolemine cluster? Well, let's have a look. There they are right there. There's Claus Australis, and there's the Ptolemine cluster. Notice that Claus Australis is at about 11:30 or so from the Ptolemine cluster, and both are above the horizon. Now, because we're going over the curved surface of the Earth, dipping our nose, as Ben likes to say, those stars would rise up, as he clearly indicated. but he forgot to include the rotation of the stars as well. So this is what the rotating globe Earth says that the stars would look like. Let's go ahead and have a look at Ben's video. Now remember, once again, this is Palma, and Claus Australis is at about 9:30 to the Ptolemy cluster. Now, we predicted that 4 hours later, it would be at about 11:30 compared to the Ptolemaic cluster down in Dakar. Let's go have a look and see what that shows.
The plane is going to adjust its heading left and right a few times, but try to keep an eye out for those two stars. There are the two stars again. Here they are over on the right side.
Okay, so here is where we are at Dakar. Now, obviously, I'm not exactly sure where this was taken. Looks like we're approaching Dakar here. Now, here is the Ptolemy star cluster, and here is Claus Australis. Notice that that is at about 11 o'clock, and if we just continue this a little bit longer, it gets to 11:30. Now, just to make absolutely sure I'm not trying to pull one over on you, he has actually identified the exact same stars. This is the Ptolemy cluster, and that is Claus Australis. Notice that Claus Australis is about 11:30 to the Ptolemy cluster, exactly as predicted on the globe. And it's above the horizon, exactly as predicted on the globe. Furthermore, you can see that it's down here by the horizon, because a couple of seconds ago we actually saw the town of Dakar right there. So this is the horizon. You can see the lights on the horizon. So it's actually quite low on the horizon as well. Now on the second video where he's going northeast instead of southwest on the flight, first of all, it doesn't have quite as many landmarks visible in it, but again, you see the counterclockwise rotation and the North Celestial Pole rising in the windshield. They both occur at the same time. So once again, that is exactly the same effect that we're seeing here. So once again, the rotating spherical Earth is confirmed by a flat earther. Now, since I made my first video in 2018 where I addressed the issue of pilots having to dip their nose in order to go over the curve of the Earth and why that was wrong, and since I am a pilot, I actually do know how airplanes operate. I don't think Ben over at Taboo Conspiracy is one. He clearly doesn't understand very much because he doesn't think that airplanes should work under the normal globe model. Now, this is a classic example of a flat earther using bravado and arrogance and speaking with confidence on a subject that he has absolutely no knowledge of. Now, based on our analysis of this, it's very obvious that the Earth is a rotating sphere because we're seeing the rotation in the star field from the aircraft, and the center of rotation and all the stars are moving up as we move towards the south. Likewise, you're on a northbound flight. Again, you see the counterclockwise rotation and the North Celestial Sphere moving up as well, exactly as you would expect to see on a rotating spherical Earth. Unbelievably, Taboo Conspiracy somehow is claiming that this is a flat Earth proof when we've gone through it, and it's exactly what you would expect on the globe. So once again, this is Bob the Science Guy signing out from Northern Michigan. Hopefully there won't be quite as long a wait until the next video. So until then, take care, guys.
There you go, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. I think there was who was it? Someone mentioned it in the chat. Did a different videos. Was it Science that? What's his name? Science.
Science it out.
Science it out. Yes.
No, we can science that, isn't it? I thought. No,
we can science it. Yeah.
Oh,
Matt.
like.
There you are, Matt. What are you
Something
doing here?
Hello. What am I doing here?
Yeah, what are you
I
doing?
know I'm a bit late, but I thought
You weren't
I'd
here
join
when
you
I
at least.
when I last looked. That was all. And then suddenly your voice rings out. I thought, oh yeah. And you missed.
You noticed me. You didn't notice me joining then. Obviously, I slipped in quietly.
No, I was watching.
Alan
Bob.
noticed because he waved when I waved.
I didn't have the Zoom up. Yeah, so you missed out on actually I didn't do any. I was going to do some on the Indians landing.
Yeah,
and,
Oh right, yeah. Sadly, I'm sorry. I had to take my son. My
Not
son was going to.
CGI.
Yeah, it's all CGI, even though it was CGI. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah,
No, I had,
CGI.
the local air cadets was having an open day, so I took my son along, and he wants to join. So we're in that for a while.
That's. I'll talk to you later about that, Matt.
Yeah.
You don't like the air cadets?
No, I highly recommend that anybody who is within the age range of joining and is in the UK, who is interested in aviation in any way, I highly recommend that they join.
Yeah.
There you go.
I wasn't allowed to.
Did the world for me when I was a teenager.
I wasn't allowed to join the air cadets.
I was in the Army Cadets.
I was in the Army Cadets. I had to be in my school.
Yeah,
until
same.
You had to do cadets.
Yeah.
That's where I got to fire an
Yeah.
M16.
Do you know the great thing about the air cadets? We did everything the Army Cadets did, and we went flying.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Got to tear us around in tanks, did you, and fire howitzers?
Well,
you didn't fire howitzers. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
We did.
No, you didn't.
We was on a weekend exercise, and it turns out that the universities actually have teams that compete in firing 105mm howitzers.
Oh, really? I never got as good as that. No, blimey.
I did.
That's the
I did
weekend
get
we got to
go-
play with the GMP on live rounds with tracer rounds in them, and we fired some munitions out from 84mm Carl Gustaf and recoilless rifle.
Jeez, I never got to do any of that.
I did get to shoot the Milan simulator.
Yeah, no, we never played with that one. We did get to do an awful lot of shit because our detachment commander was, what was he? He was, oh God, in charge of the stores, county quartermaster. He knew a lot of people. It was like, we're going for a weekend. Righto. You'll be bringing lots of toys and you'll be doing lots of things you're not supposed to do. Righto. That's really brilliant.
The things you want to do. Yeah.
That was when I decided I'm going to join the army.
Our squadron adjutant was a quality control inspector at Sterling Armaments. So one range day we got to play with an AR-180.
All right. Ooh, cool.
Which was the platform that Royal Ordnance turned into the SA-80. So they didn't have to pay Sterling a license fee.
Only things I got to play with was Lee Enfield 303, the SLR towards the end, my last 6 months of my Army Cadets, and the Bren gun. That was it.
I love the Bren gun. Heavy but fun.
Yeah. SLR was heavy. Jesus. Compared to the 303 Enfield, it's a bit heavy.
Yeah, Lee Enfield's, nothing really, is it?
But a number 4 and an SLR basically weigh the same.
That's what I thought, pretty much.
I've shot a lot of rounds out of both. Yeah. About
Well, the
8.5
SLR,
pounds.
the SLR seemed a lot heavier to me when I was lugging it around the field than it could compared to a 303.
Anyway, we better let Timbo get on with his show.
It's all right. What do you know about telescopes, Matt? Should I buy this one?
He's gone.
He's back. You're back.
No, I'm here. I was just
So
talking to my daughter then. You didn't want to hear or see me talking to my daughter.
Okay. So what do you know about telescopes, Matt? Should I buy this one?
Celestron?
I
Best using one up.
I looked it up. Here it is. Look.
I have a Celestron. I've forgotten which one it is, but it's up in the attic now, out the way, because I've not got no room for it.
Ooh. Yes. No, these are coming up second hand. Very tempting. I don't think I'll be able to. I'm pretty sure this will go for a few grand.
Celestron Advanced GT Series 9.25S. Can't say I know it, but
Yeah, it's big. That's all I can tell you. It's a massive thing. 200 mil.
obviously a reflector, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Ooh, I don't have any of that fancy stuff on it.
Or I could get one of this. This one. This is the Evolution 6 next up. Completely.
Are these all second hand? Are they?
Yeah, they come out for auction.
Ah, no wonder it's so cheap.
Well, it's 4 days left for this one. It's just got a good. A couple of them didn't even have eyepieces, but that's okay. Or I could get a nice long one. I don't know what's good. What's good of a long one? I like a long one like this.
Well, that's a refractor, isn't it? So,
yeah,
refractor telescope. I mean, from what I've been told, if you really want to look at things in detail, you're better with a reflector.
Anyway,
yeah, from what I understand, if you're looking at the not high end, get a reflector because it's a hell of a lot easier to make a good cheap reflector than it is to make a good cheap refractor.
Okay.
Well, fair enough. Mind you, I'm a bit of the like this one where you type it into the computer and say, "Ooh, find me that star, please."
Yeah.
And track it for the next few minutes. So yes.
Well, I think that first one you showed on the really, really fancy
this one, yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
That's on a that's on a proper equatorial mount, but it's still got the go-to and all the supercomputer control on it.
It's
so
got everything. Yes. That's why it's
you can do the show me that, and as long as you've set the thing up right,
well,
it
that's
should
what I said.
track.
That's
nicely.
that's this one.
I think part of the fun is actually, getting the right the right ascension and declination and finding what you're looking for, rather than just typing it into a computer and point it right at it. I think it's part of the fun of it. I think.
You reckon?
It's kind of. Oh yeah, I think it's a bit more rewarding. I think just type. I don't think I'd ever get a telescope like that. It's got it all automatic. I don't think.
12 o'clock. Anyway, we'll see. I don't think I'll be getting that one because even second hand, it's still going to go for about $2 or $3 grand. So
yeah, $7,000 now. Sort of, was that $7,000?
For a new one, yeah. And this one's all set up and comes with a few lenses and this, that, and the other. Bit dirty, but you could dust it. It'd be right. Oh, okay. So I won't put you through, but guess what? Yes, they think the Indians was CGI. I don't know how many videos. I think there's about 10 of Flurfs saying, "Oh, the Indians were fake. It wasn't real." That's right.
Well, I mean, the way I see it, I think they're scraping the bottom of the barrel quite literally because anybody, even a small child, could see that the live broadcast was an animation. It's obvious. You can't. It's unmistakable. And the fact that nobody from Israel or anybody else was claiming that it wasn't anything else other than animation, they're just scraping the bottom of the barrel and just trying to convince their lemmings that Israel are passing it off as real footage. And well, obviously they're not, because now they've released footage, but that's not good enough. They're ignoring that. They don't want to post anything like that. They don't want to do videos about that though, do they?
No.
You mean India, not Israel.
You're not what? Sorry, what?
You mean India, not Israel.
Did I just say Israel?
You did twice.
Did I? Twice.
What?
I didn't realise what I said.
I think you said Israel, but the way you pronounce
Israel,
a lot of Israel might well have been heard as Israel.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said. Israel, yeah, not Israel.
Okay.
Sorry. Came out a bit wrong. Yeah, so nobody from I'm not going to say the whole thing. Indians Space Research Organization, then it's too much of a mouthful.
Yeah.
I'll just say Israel.
That's right.
Yeah.
Israel. Yes. Well, yeah, as we were saying earlier, we think it did well on a shoestring budget to get something that actually landed on the second try. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, show me a Flurf rocket that's ended up on the moon.
I mean, depends how quickly you want to get there and what sort of payload you want to get there. If you want a big payload and you want to get there quickly, yeah, it's going to cost quite a lot more because you need a bigger rocket and a lot more fuel. Simple as that, you know.
Paul, I think the only answer that I can get you to that one is the unfortunate Mick West. But there's a lot of doubt whether he was ever really a flat earther anyway, isn't there?
Well, I mean, the flat earthers don't even know what the moon is, let alone go there.
Yeah. They have their own different opinions.
Yeah, none of them can explain, or none of them can actually agree to what the moon is at all. You're right. None of them.
Come on, they can't explain the bloody sunset.
No. Oh, I got Pete Shea twisted in knots the other day because I was trying to get him to explain to me how retrograde motion of the planets, how that worked on his flat Earth. First of all, he was talking about umbrellas. Then it was something to do with mirrors, and then he changed his mind again. It was something to do with lasers.
Aristarchus.
Aristarchus. Yeah. Aristarchus, of course.
Show your face.
Show your face. Obviously, I didn't go into the usual sort of stuff of have you got any evidence and all the rest of it, because we know what his reaction's going to be because he gets all defensive and all the rest of it. He hasn't got any evidence. So all I was trying to do is just try to discredit his really strange theories, but I just couldn't get him to commit to actually sort of explaining in any great detail about his mirrors and lasers and all the rest of it as well.
Yeah,
it's
just
bonkers, absolute bonkers.
Just all very loose, no real sensibility to it. But yeah. Well, now that you're here, Matt, it's time to say goodbye.
Oh, okay, bye. So I was a busy man today.
That's all right. So I'll just finally get, but we might say goodnight. Thanks for the peanuts for coming. We'll definitely have another one next week. Maybe one on Wednesday. We'll see how we go, and we will go for there. So I think you guys would like to say. I'm just busy trying to find my shut off button. You guys like to say goodnight to the peanuts?
Good night, peanuts.
Good night, peanuts.
Good night, peanuts.
Oh, yeah.
Solidarity, Reg.
See you guys.
That's the one. I do believe we've got a